way the colonial masters, of yesteryears set up the Nigerian police force, to subjugate the average citizen, or whether you would attribute it to many years of military rule, and by extension, that has led to, in quotes now, the militarization of the Nigerian police force, or whether you would even attribute it to the constant or the prevalence of corrupt leaders who have continued to use this organ, talking about the police and by extension other law enforcement agents, to perpetrate their heinous and selfish acts or crimes. You may not be wrong. The truth remains that over the years, for as many years as I can even think, or as many years as you can think, the duties of the police force, and by extension, other law enforcement agents, have been such that has left several Nigerians, in tears. It is either you have been directly affected by their high-handedness, extrajudicial killings, or indirectly due to the way they go about, exercising what's supposed to be their constitutional duties. Over the years, we have seen the proliferation of different forms, units of law enforcement agents, either at the federal level, state level, or even within our communities, the one that they call today community policing in form of the vigilantes. But one thing that we would all agree with, especially if you live within our communities today, is that the same way the Nigerian police and other federal security agents have treated Nigerians, that is being replicated even down to the simplest of these units. Take, for example, within the communities, you establish a security outfit. Say they come into practice, they start performing their roles or their duties 1 week, 1 month after their inauguration or being registered or whatever, however you want to describe it. After some time, that bigger than life, you know, um, poise or posture or whatever they want to display begins to show. And you find out that they now begin to, in the same way, just as other security agencies or security operatives handle and treat the citizens, these same groups that were just established, even within the communities, begin to exhibit such displays. It is no longer news that when young people gather, say at a pub or a particular social gathering that they have, that at the slightest sight or whatever of the Nigerian police, they are no longer at ease. It gets to the point that even when people are away, maybe taking strolls along the streets, trying to catch fun or whatever, at the sight of police patrol vehicles or whatever, what happens? People scamper because of the fear of the Nigerian police, and it is not supposed to be so. Like I said, I was going to talk briefly about some of what we already heard from those clips that the host played. But because, we've heard them directly from the sources, talking about the presenters and all of the people that were interviewed in that particular clip, even though we didn't have the opportunity to watch the clips, being that they were video clips, but we get a clear picture of the situation of Nigeria as far as it comes, or rather as far as it deals with law enforcement agencies. And mind you, while we are having this discussion, we are not going to be restricting or limiting it to the Nigerian police force. It's going to stretch across several institutions as far as security operatives in Nigeria is concerned. Be it, okay, like I already said, the Nigerian police force, be it the Nigerian army, the state security service, the one that a lot of us now call the DSS, be it even paramilitary groups in the country. So we are going to have discussions around this, and we are going to have people share with us their personal experiences. what they have suffered, either directly or indirectly. And by indirectly, it could be through family members, close associates, friends, well wishers, in the hands of these security operatives. I said I was going to leave it for 2 minutes or so, but by my time I've seen that I've extended beyond the 2 minutes. So I will just take a pause here while welcoming happiness to also, you know, throw in a word or two by way of opening remarks. And do not forget, guys, before I yield to happiness, I'd want to enjoin us to kindly share the space so that other well-meaning Nigerians can come in here and make the conversation a very robust one, whilst also appreciating our guest speakers for the evening, Sweet Child and Rhoda Sander, for joining us again. Thank you, everyone, for joining. While I yield now to happiness. I hope I was being I hope I was being heard all the while.
Yeah, I think
Happiness, are you
happiness
there?
is not available. All right,
All
let's
right.
just let's move to Simdu and then we'll have happiness afterwards. Simdu, oh happiness, you're here now.
Okay, I think happiness is here, so I'll go after her.
I think you should go because I think happiness is gonna take a very long time. You know
All
how.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, no problem. I won't be too long. I think my namesake kind of hit on some points I wanted to touch on. But in any case, good evening everybody. I greet everybody. I hope we've had a good week or a decent week. And I'll go straight into the topic. Great introduction with the videos and the monologues. But just to contribute to what has been said on the topic, the Nigerian security forces versus the average citizen. Just like Simcad said initially, as a basic concept, the idea of security of any state is usually centered around law enforcement and ensuring that that the state is secure, right? Now, the jurisdiction may differ. For instance, where you have the military may mainly deal with with protecting the sovereignty of the state against foreign threats and the likes, while you might have like the police force or the police, the policing arm as having the responsibility being of ensuring that law and order within the state, within the country. That's typically how it is set up. Now, the question is, with where we find ourselves, how does that play out with respect to the average citizen? You would see that over the years, there's been several instances where it has not been seemingly not been favorable to the average Nigerian citizen because it's either when it comes to the enforcement seems to be focused squarely on the citizen for the wrong reason or from the wrong approach or from a more enforcement based approach where the already burden pressure on the citizen is made worse by being overly forceful by from these particular security agencies. Now remember I spoke about um the responsibilities or duties, right? Protecting the sovereignty of the state, law enforcement, and the likes. But if I could ask each and every one of us so far, how has that been? Over the past couple of years, there's been an increasing challenge with insecurity within the country, where you have foreign threats within the country, from terrorism, with Boko Haram, to insecurity in terms of well, they term it banditry, but it's quite frankly, it's terrorism as far as I'm concerned. But all these threats are still on the rise, and which led to an increased spate of of kidnappings and ransom, which is its own industry right now. At the same time, you kind of see like you kind of see like a dual personality with this same security forces, where there seems to be a soft pedaling with these kind of threats. On the other hand, when it comes to the average citizen, there is more there's more hard-handedness. A case in point, just a few weeks back, just a few days ago, right? When it comes to the idea of a protest or whatever, or anything of that sort, or public display of or displeasure in a civil manner, you kind of see vim, you see a lot of ginger from these security agencies. But when at the same time, when it comes to tackling threats that are that are more or less imminent in terms of the sovereignty of the state, that are dangerous to the security, to the sanctity and the sovereignty of the state, there's like a soft pedaling. So it's like, on the one hand, where does that leave? What is the intent? What is the intent of the security forces? What is the posture of the security forces? Because it would seem like it is geared towards subjugating the average citizen while giving soft pedal to more threatening issues, or soft landing to more threatening issues, which is like the opposite of what you would expect. Um, because, and this is why you have the average citizen asking certain questions. If you can do this a certain way, if you can be this enforceful, right? You saw the show of force that happened in Abuja on Sunday. If you can come out and show out like this, with such action and be very deliberate, why can you not be deliberate in actually securing law and order and the sovereignty of the state? And it kind of presents what I would refer to as the dual the conundrum or the problem of the unknown soldier. What do I mean by that? It's cut in two fronts. On the one hand, you have the unknown soldier that whose deeds are never known by the average citizen. They do their duty. They go in, they achieve their task in protecting, and even in some cases, unfortunately, paying the ultimate sacrifice, and laying their lives. There's quite a number of them. Unfortunately, some of them passed away a few weeks ago, due to that ambush of this same insecurity due to this same insecurity, right? That is the one angle of the unknown soldier, right? Now, the other side of this unknown soldier conundrum is the unknown soldier that is sent to perform to execute certain tasks that are that pose a threat to the average citizen. Case in point, 2020. In the year 2020, during the NSAS protest, till today, well, soldiers went there. They cut out the lights. They shot at the average. They shot at well-meaning young Nigerian citizens, and they have not been brought to book till today. The same way, in certain cases, some atrocities you would see, of course, some are even caught on camera, where you would see malhandling of the average of the Nigerian citizen, and sometimes it's caught, or sometimes other times it's not really covered, or it's nothing is done with that sort of information. And this now presents the average citizen with a question to say, okay, are you for me or are you against me? Are you how can they comprehend this duality? Are you pressuring me? Are you for me? Are you protecting me? Or is it the other way around? Are you protecting someone else? These are the questions we find ourselves asking as the average citizen. And that's why you see it's geared towards the topic of the Nigerian security forces versus the average citizen, because it would seem like the number one objective of the security forces, and which is protecting lives and property, law and order, is misplaced. That is, well, of course, we're here to discuss. We are here to discuss is the court of public opinion. But on the other hand, when you look at the welfare, when you look at the way the training regimen and the way these security forces are being instituted and they are being trained, it kind of puts things in perspective. I mean, there's that. I'll go to, for instance, the police force now. There is that now infamous video or documentary by Channels TV, I think, where they went into their training camps, and you saw at the time it was about when it came to their welfare, feeding, and the likes, was about 150 naira per head per day, right? And a per meal. And you ask yourself, how is that sustainable? And now imagine going through such a training, which is more servile, more like which makes more or less dehumanizes you, but it doesn't put in place certain fundamentals that you should have when it comes to protecting life and property, law and order, things like that. And you come out of that same system, there would seem to be a mismatch or a misunderstanding in terms of your actual duty, because they are, instead of saying, okay, I'm here to protect lives and property, there will begin to be a thing where it's like, you have not gone through what I've gone through. Who are you where do you come from? And quite rightly so. Of course, there are certain trainings, there are certain things that you have to give respect to going through that training, but then it cannot be the only thing that will be judged, that will be the locus of the moral locus for such a security operative, because you are giving them a responsibility and also giving them a certain level of authority to wield weapons and do all these things. So if that training regimen or that process of developing such a person or such personnel is skewed towards, you know breaking them down and not instituting the necessary principles to guide them, then you will have what we have today, where the average citizen means nothing, little or nothing. You do anything, you get slapped. They tell you, I will shoot you, and nothing will happen. And you would continue to have these issues while you still have well-meaning security personnel within this system, right? But no matter how much we do, like they say, one bad egg spoils the rest. In any case, I think I've hogged the mic for a bit. I will leave it at this point and let everyone else chime in. Thank you for the time.
All right. Thank you so much, Simdo. Happiness, are you ready now?
Hi, Ngozi. Good
Hi.
evening, guys. Sorry, I just stepped out to do one or two things quickly to come back, and I was hearing my name. Okay. Good evening, everyone on Court of Public Opinion. You're welcome to the space. Good evening, SIM card. Good evening, Simdu, Ngozi, Sweet Child, Sanda. Incoming. Good evening, everyone. I could go on and on to mention your names, but for the sake of time, I welcome you all to Court of Public Opinion. And as the topic says, the Nigerian security forces versus the average citizen. And it's no news what happened over the weekend. And after that's happened, I asked myself, and I've kept on asking myself these rhetorical questions. I don't think, I don't think that question has got answers after my last experience. And the question is police really your friend? Is the Nigerian police or the Nigerian armed forces generally, are they truly our friends? Are they actually out to protect our citizens? Are they actually, is the interest to protect the citizens' life and property? I don't think so. I'm sorry to say, but I really do not think so. my Sunday experience, I've always had this impression about the police, especially after the NSARS, or the Nigerian Armed Forces, let me put it that way, especially after the NSARS incident, after October 20th, 2020. And each passing day, we get more and more convinced that they are actually not our friends. I'm not here to spread any form of malicious whatever to the Nigerian police and the Nigerian army or the entire armed forces. That is not what I'm here for. I'm just going to say my truth and my experience and what I've seen and the conclusion that I've drawn. Whatever I say here, it is not going to say whether or not, because everyone has had one or two experiences with them, either negative or positive. So I won't want to say overrule how you are going to think, or I won't decide for you how you're going to think or the impression you're going to have about them. But this is me saying my own story and what I feel about them. And I'm saying this without any form of remorse or regrets. I'm saying it as it is, with my full chest, that these guys are actually not our friends, right? Because for each passing day, we get more convinced that, they're not our friends. Just December last year, on Christmas Day, on 25th of December, a pregnant woman coming from church was shot right in front of her child, of her 2 years old or 3 years old child. Just last December. We can't keep talking about, we can't the atrocities are just many, and it keeps happening every single day. And I don't know, but I feel like the Nigerian police needs serious reform and rehabilitation, in quotes, emphasis on rehabilitation, because I don't see those people as people who are normal. Those guys are not normal. Those guys they are in their world. They see life differently from the way you and I see life. They reason differently. Their orientation is totally, totally different. They are far away, in disconnection with the way you and I see life. And this conclusion was is coming from what happened on Sunday. Now let me go straight to what happened. Let me not lament so much, so I don't waste time. On Sunday, I stepped out for the march. It was a peaceful march, a very peaceful march. I went to City Gate. When I got there, I was expecting to see crowd because I didn't leave my house on time. I actually got there by say 2:03. So I was expecting to see crowd, but I didn't see people, right? I didn't see anyone. For those of you who are in Abuja, you understand how City Gate is. It's before you get to the where they have the City Gate symbol, you have to climb like something like a mountain, So, but where I was coming from, in the car, I didn't see people gathered there, but I was seeing from afar. I was seeing police vehicles. But I thought maybe because the last rally we had, the 1 million march we had the last year, they were already there before we got to the place, Unity Fountain. They were all there. They were all stationed there before we got there. So I thought it was just, part of those things where they will just stay and, secure the environment just so the place can be secured for takeoff. So I climbed the mountain and I got to the the gate. And I stood for a while. I was trying to observe what was going on. I saw joint task force. I saw their vehicles, parked separately, and I stood to observe the entire environment. I was wondering, maybe I was in the wrong place. So I could remember I sent a message to my people and I asked them what's going on because I'm not seeing people. I guess maybe, I don't know. I just do not know. So I got a feedback that no, this was even after the experience I had with them. The first experience I had with the police was when I stood there and I was observing. One person called me and I obeyed, because first thing first, you have to obey before complain. But I knew it wasn't going to be a normal conversation, but I obeyed just so they will not have anything to say. So when I got there, I stood and there was a kind of like was it a sock away or something, I don't know, but I just climbed it and I stood and the guy said, meet my Oga. And I said, good afternoon, sir. I greeted everybody that was there. I said, good afternoon, what are you doing here? I said, we're supposed to have a match, but I'm not seeing anyone. And he told me there's nothing like that happening here. That they're having an event, or I don't know. Police told me they were supposed to have an event or something at that spot. I said, okay. I was trying to turn, and this guy just started speaking to me so arrogantly and condescendingly. He said, why am I standing on the soccer way speaking to the Oga like that? I should step down. And I'm like, have we met before? Have we met before? Because your mannerism, your approach is totally wrong. If you want me to step down, you can say it in a very polite manner. That you're putting on this uniform does not give you the right to speak to me in a manner that is disrespectful. Have we met before? Have I had any conversation with you before? Why are you so harsh in trying to pass your message? And then the Oga said I should just go. I should not mind him. I should go. And I left quietly. When I came down, I saw a guy with a tripod, and I tried to engage him, and he said he's from Silverbed. He was there to cover the rally. But he's not seeing anyone. And immediately it dawned on me that these guys are actually chasing people. So obviously there must have been people there before I came, but they chased them away. That was when I reached out to my people and they told me, okay, there's a new venue. So I was trying to see how I can get my way to the place. And this car just came parked in front of me and asked me the same question. They're not seeing anybody. They're actually there for the same reason. And I told them, okay, this is what has happened. So this is what I suspect. And I told them the new location, and then they asked me to get in, so we go together. Got there, we didn't see anyone. And I decided to come on Twitter, and I got into a space, and that was when the full gist was coming that, oh, they've been chasing people here and there. They've been planted in strategic places in Abuja to prevent people from gathering. And at this point, they were already harassing people in Area 1. That was where I got the info that Chigozie was already picked up. I said, okay, we were still somehow around the city gate, and people started coming. People were just moving, and we tried to gather them together so we can, have a reasonable number to see how we can merge with the other people at the other places. So just so before we return, because I don't know, for people who understand Abuja bridge connection, there's a bridge, an overhead bridge, and there's I don't know how I'm going to explain it anyways. So before we could go and turn and come back to Magic Land, we saw them. This time they were all complete. All the joint task force were complete. They were just there. And I'm like, what is this number for? They were like ants. I'm like, how many are we in the first place? And what was it even necessary for sending, like, the numbers were much. There was army, there was police, there was DSS, there was NSCDC. I'm like, are you for real? They were all packed on the road. So we stood in front of the Magic Land gate. That's like an amusement park for kids. So people were actually inside already in the park. So that was a strategic position because they couldn't have done anything or tear gas the area, because if they do it, there were kids in the Magic Land. So we stood right there and they were packed there trying to see how they can get us. So I brought out my phone, and at this point they were trying to, I'm sorry guys, before we got to that Magic Land, while we're trying to gather those people, there was a time they came to approach us at that city gate, and this guy was coming at me directly. And immediately I saw him coming towards me, I picked up my phone. I picked up my phone because in case there's going to be anything, so the story can be out there for people to know what went down. These are people that I don't trust. They don't operate like normal human beings. So I brought out my phone for receipts. So this guy was coming at me. When he saw that I brought the phone out, he backed off. And I asked him, what was my offense? Why are you coming like you wanted to hit me? Why the aggressive move towards me? What did I do? I just stood and I was watching what was going on. And he said that we've chased two people from here before. I don't know when, it became a crime for people not to gather, right? And at that point, that was when the prof that I later met along the line, was trying to engage them to tell them that this is not a fight for just we. It's a fight for all of us and for a better nation. So it is not, we're not fighting them, we're not armed, we're not out here to cause chaos, we're just here to, to send a message. And one of the officers that was reasonable, while I was asking what my offense was trying to calm me down. He said it was okay, that I should forget about it, that we're going to settle this whole thing. And then we'll finish the conversation. They left before we moved to Magic Land. When we got to that Magic Land, that was when those people, the entire Joint Task Force was present. There was a huge, huge, huge armed forces presence at that spot. And when I brought my phone, this guy came and was still same approach, trying to, harass me, trying to take my phone away from me. And I know if that phone gets to them, they're going to take information from my phone. So I threw the phone to the crowd. I do not know what I was doing at this point, but I just knew I needed to save my phone from them. I threw the phone. Bulus caught the phone. They went after Bulus. Bulus refused to give them the phone. When the pressure was too much on him, he threw the phone to the crowd again. At this point, we don't even know where the phone went to. But I knew that at that point, my phone was safe. It was safe. Whoever is with the phone, I know is safe with the person. So while I was standing and I was watching what was going on, they picked this guy. About two of the police guys started hitting him. He was trying to defend himself, and I saw that he was trying to overwhelm all two of them. About two others came and joined them, and they started beating this guy, started hitting him. They would throw him, they were throwing him to themselves. They would push him here, push him here, push him here. They pulled his clothes, they tore his clothes, pushed him to the ground. They would raise him from his pants, his waist, his belt. They'll raise him up and leave him to fall on the ground. And they'll use their guns to hit him, use their boots to match him, kick him, use their boots to... They were just tossing him around like ping pong, like... And I stood and I was watching. And the other police guys came and started pulling me. I said, I'm not going anywhere. They said I should follow them. I said, I'm not going anywhere because I've not done anything wrong. What have I done that you're pulling me to your car? Am I a criminal? Did I kill somebody? Did I steal? So they tried to pull me, I refused. They tried to pull me, I refused. It was a serious back and forth at that point. And one lady came and winked at me, and I fell for it. So when she came, she said I should follow her, I should come. And I just peacefully followed her. We got close to the car. That was when it dawned on me that I thought this girl just wanted to have a conversation with me on the side. When I got close to the car, I realized that I was already, in fact, it was a trap. So I started refusing to move. We started pulling each other. She will pull me, I'll pull her. She'll pull me, I'll pull her. She'll pull me, I'll pull her, until another female police officer that is bigger than the two of us came and started pushing me. The two of them started pushing me, pushed me to the car, and I sat in the car. And I was in that car, and I saw how they were beating Bulus to the point where he couldn't move anymore. Bulus could not move. When they used their leg to push him, he was not moving. He wasn't even moving at all. And they were saying, "He still a breathe. You know, he dey breathe. If you know, he still dey sleep. Leave him, he dey sleep. If he sleep finish, he go wake up." And I was like, God. Okay. They dragged him, even in that state, they dragged him and put him in their van. And they started driving. Were three of us that they picked. The other third guy, I don't know, but the guy was looking really clean. They didn't touch him. So they started driving around the place. They'll go down the bridge and come up again. Go down the bridge. They were targeting somebody, and they set it at the place they finally took us to. And I was wondering why they've picked us, right? They should take us to the station, wherever they are going to take us to. Why are they, still why are they parading the area? They now took us to, they eventually, after we turned the bridge like 3-4 times, they finally took us to Unity, to Eagle Square, where they normally do the inauguration. So we got there, they all packed. Before we got to the Eagle Square, in the car, there was a serious fight between me, because one female police was sitting beside by my left, and a male police by my right. So I was just in their middle. And they were telling me, sit down with your back touching the chair. I shouldn't sit upright. And I told them, you can't tell me how to sit. If I'm comfortable like this, this is how I want to sit down. I don't want to relax. And this girl used her hand to hit her. She was hitting me with her elbow on my chest. And I started defending myself. She will hit me, I will elbow her back. She will elbow me, I will elbow. It was a fight in the car until the guy had to come in. He was pulling, they were both pulling me to the back. I refused. The three of us were fighting in the car. And they were like, this girl does not know anything. She today your body will tell you. I'm like, whatever it is you guys will need to do today, you will do it, because I would first of all try to defend myself before you do anything. I'm not saying I'm not telling, this is not, to tell anybody here what to be violent with them. I'm not, but this is just so I don't know what came over me that day, but that was just what I could do to defend myself. Right? So it was a serious fight in the car before we finally got to Eagle Square. When we got there, they parked. They didn't go anywhere. And then they will come to the car, they will say all sorts of things to me. They asked me where my phone was. I told them I don't know. They have the phone. And I said, you people have my phone. So if there's anything that's going to go wrong, I'll hold you people responsible. You have my phone. I don't know what happened. You took it from Bulus. And they were like, so I'm even saying that I'm trying to accuse them of the phone. I said, I don't know, but that was what happened. And they will come, NSCDC will come at me. They would pull me by my hair, by my shirt. They would slap me. They would hit me. They will tell me. And one came and was like, they will be talking to her. She will not even say a word. They will be talking to her. She will be, who does she think she is? And I heard the other one said, maybe in a big man picking. The other one now said, see her skin. What did she dey feel like? And the third person came and said, you think say you fine? Look all the girls wey dey here. You think say you fine reach the girls wey dey here? If you remove that thing where you apply for face now, you don't pack. Hey, God of mercy. And they came and was using their hands to slap me to clean what's my, because I was actually prepared to go for my event. I was supposed to cover a red carpet event that Sunday. So my plan was to just dash in and then go straight to my event. So I was all dressed up and they started hitting me, pulling my hair, hitting my face, slapping me. This one will come and say, now shower she be now. She sleep around now. Shower like so many derogatory words. I almost talked back, but I don't know. God just sealed my lip. Slap me, kick me, elbow me, blow me, they'll go. Another step to come, you know. That was what they were doing, taking turns. They were taking turns. And they said, when I stopped replying, when I kept, at the point where I kept quiet, they were now suspecting maybe I would know somebody, or maybe and the way Abuja is structured, you don't know who is who. So that was when they started making comments like, maybe na big man pikin be this. You know, see the way she dey behave. And I'm like, God. The other one will say, now shower she be. Sorry to say, God, guys, I'm going to use words that was used on me, and they're actually not nice words. So they were saying things like, with her slacked pussy, her pussy don't slack finish. So many dirty words. Even the ladies were saying these things to me, the ladies. So when one of the ladies came and met me and said I should give her my ID card, I said I'm not giving her my ID card. I didn't want any of my properties to get to their hands. I was holding that ID card in my hand. And she said I should give it to her. I told her I'm not giving. I'm not releasing anything to anybody. They said, okay, now you go stay here today. I said, okay, no problem. We sat in the car. One man came and said, so they were telling, when I told her I'm not giving her, she said, so you know you're right. You know you're right. The other one was pulling my hand. I said, this is not part of your job. This is not part of your job. You're not asked to harass me. You've picked me. I'm with you people. I'm not running anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. You have no right to pull my hair. So the lady now said, I should shut up. Do I know my right? I said, you don't ask me to shut up. Don't tell me to shut up. At this point, another man came and was slapping me and on my face, left, right, and center, you know, that, so I know my rights. Who told me that I know my rights? Like, so all of this was happening, and they got tired. They went to sit down. I was still in the car. Bulus was behind. He was still lying down. He wasn't even moving. So when they finished, they didn't know what to do with us again. They came and said, I should come down from the car. And I came down. And they said, the man said I should give him my ID card he wants to see. And I gave him. He looked at it and gave it back to me. He said, we're going to release you now. How are you going to find your way? I said, you don't have to worry about that. I'm not new in this town. Can I go? He said, how are you going to get your phone? Because we want to establish that this phone is not, whatever happens, it is not our fault. It is not in our hands. If the phone misses, it's not, we didn't see it. And I'm like, I will get my phone. Because I already know the phone is safe wherever it is. So I told them I will get my phone. Can I go? And they were like, one said, I'm suspecting this girl. They are all in the same group together. Even with the people that we left. And that was when that one said, that one with bag, with one lady, that lady with bag in her front, that's the target that would have, that's the one that's the lady we would have carried. We carried the wrong person. And then they left us there. They asked Bulus to come down by himself. This is a guy that was beaten to a point where he was helpless. He couldn't move his feet. He was struggling to put his feet on the ground. He couldn't even stand upright. They asked him to come down by himself from the car. And he struggled and managed, and they were laughing at him. So when I saw the humiliation, I promised myself, I'm not going to drop a tear here, because if I do it, these people will mock me. They will laugh at me. They would use me to do. I'm not going to show them any form of weakness. So they mocked Bulus. They asked him to stand. Nobody should help him. Nobody should assist him. He was able to manage to stand. And they said the last person they saw me give the phone to was Bulus, so I should hold him responsible. I said, okay, I've heard you. Can we go now? They said, are you going to get... I said, you don't have to worry about me. I'm not a child. Can we go now? They said, you can go. And I took Bulus along with me. We went to the event that I was supposed to cover. I called the guy, and I used his phone to reach my phone. So when I called my phone, they picked up, and it was Mrs. Barriat that picked, and she told me where they were, and we went together with Bulus. I was able to sort Bulus. I don't know what happened at that point, because I left him. I don't know. I left him, and I took my bag. I couldn't go back to the event anymore. I came back home. So I took my bag and I left. So that was what happened on Sunday. So apparently, the following day when I tried to reach out, because the guys that took Bulus was Prof and some other guys that I met along the line. So they were the ones that took him to the hospital for checkup. His eyes were clotted with blood. His both eyes were clotted with blood. If you're looking at Bulus's eyes, you see like blood clothes. You won't see the white eyes anymore. It was like fire, like it was reddish, with swollen face and body. So they took him to the hospital. When I reached out to Prof the following day, he told me he was admitted. So that was what happened on Sunday. And I'm here to boldly say that the police is not our friend, because these people, with the things that was said to me, I realized that these people's orientation has been messed up. They are not humans. They live like pigs. Imagine living a barracks that is as dirty as the ones we see on both social media and mainstream media, and getting to the office where everybody talks. It was like, I'm like, if look, see guys, the entire Nigerian armed forces all need to be drug tested. They all need to be drug tested. Those guys are not normal. You see the ones, when I keep seeing things on social media like, oh, these ones are not like others. They are with us, and I'm like, you don't say that, because if those guys are in the same position that these guys were, they will do the same thing. If these guys are taken from this post that they are to another place, they will be acting the victim. So if whoever is in the position will do the same thing. Because why? They take orders from senior officers who are sitting down on the same table with politicians. After putting them in sensitive political positions, and they retire from the police or the military or whatever, they go into politics full time. You could see it with the former IG of police. When I saw the poster that he's coming out for senator, is it senator or governor? I can't remember. These guys will still answer sir to the senator. And one thing I've promised myself is that there's no amount of reform or whatever we're clamoring for these guys. They don't need it. They've proved time and time again that they are comfortable in that position that they are. And I've accepted my faith that way. And I've come to realize that this is who they are. They cannot change. When they are done serving senior officers and politicians, they will retire miserably, and I will employ them, and I will employ them as my security as my gate man. I will send them on errands, and I'll pay them 30K, and I will maltreat them. That is, I will treat them worse than what they did to Nigerian citizens. They don't deserve anything good. They don't. So when I see people shouting and clamoring for them and saying, oh, some of them are nice, I cannot guarantee you that some of them are nice. I cannot guarantee that. I cannot guarantee that. I used to have a brother, a cousin who is a soldier, right? When this Boko Haram thing became very, very serious, he saw the entire corruption in the military. He had to resign from the job. So if something is going on that you don't like, or you it's actually not, it's against your moral, it's not something that you actually would morally agree or accept, why not dissociate yourself from it? You're in there, you're shouting and telling us, oh, they are treating us like this, our pay. Who fucking cares how much you're being paid, man? Who cares how much you're being paid? I don't care. I will I will drive towards police checkpoints, and they will ask me for a dime, and I will not give them. I will see a policeman, I will see them dying, I will not help. I am not sorry. This is my impression, and this is what I have already promised myself. I made this promise to myself during NSAS, and I'm so unapologetic about it. I'm very vindictive like that. I will not do what I've promised myself that I will not do. I told myself I will never assist the policeman no matter the situation, and that is how it has been. And right now, it has gotten to a point where there is no going back. Because tomorrow will come out, these puppets will be sent to innocent citizens. I don't care. I don't feel pity for them when they are being killed. They should go to war. Whatever war that is coming, they should go and die there. I don't care. I don't care. I yield my mic.
All right, thank you so much, Happiness. And I'm sorry for all that you had to go through. The funny part is that you told me, like you made mention of this, but I didn't know it was this bad. It's terrible. Oh my God. I don't know if Bolus is on Twitter, but if he's on Twitter, maybe we can have him. Like, I can't imagine pulling people up and throwing them down. That's terrible. Is that Bolus? Not Sabulu. Who's on?
I
Oh,
don't.
no, there's no Bolus.
Bulus. I just spoke to Mrs. Barriat, and she told me that because I've been trying to reach him, his number has not been connecting. So, she told me that Bulus just got, a phone. I think his phone completely went bad that day because he refused to come up. We're even trying to use his phone when they gave his phone back to us. We're trying to use his phone to reach out to my own phone, to get to the other people, but his phone was not coming up. We tried to charge, it wasn't coming up. So I guess the phone got bad completely from that whole mess. So she told me he just got a phone, so he's trying to still see how he can, you know, put his SIM and get it working. So he told me if there's anything, if I can't reach him to that through that number, she will send me the number to reach him through. So yes, that's the situation. But he has left the hospital. He left the hospital yesterday. So whatever development that comes from his side, I would update you guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Happiness, and we're sorry of how you for how you were treated. All right. Let's move on with the conversation. So we have our guests, Rhoda Sand and Switch Out. So they will go first and have their monologue before we have like the other speakers. We're so sorry about that, but that's how we're gonna run it today. Rhoda Sanda, please go ahead.
Good evening, host, co-host, everybody on the speaker stand, my wonderful and amazing listeners. Good evening. It's a pleasure and I feel very honored to be amongst the guest speakers for today. Thank you for bringing me in to speak on the Nigerian security forces versus the average Nigerian citizen. I think SIM card gave a preamble of like a summary of everything. And then happiness came to further expatiate based on her own personal experience. You know, we've been badly hit as a people. I'm joining this piece from Plateau. I'm in Jos at the moment. Jos has been one of the states that has been greatly hit by insecurity. And you only find insecurity in places where your security forces cannot defend the average citizen. We've had to run from one place to the other. Initially, we'll run from the city back to our villages once there's any breach in security, you know, issues. But now people from the villages run to the city to seek for help. That is how far it has gone. Honestly, as a person, I have lost 100% confidence in the Nigerian security forces because so many times they have failed us. I'm going to share two experiences or two incidences that happened, you know, that made me to give up on a Nigerian security system. I'm from Bokos local government to be precise, and then the Kulere axis. Kulere axis is mostly hilly, there's no flat land. During dry season, I think around harvest time, some women were coming back from the farm only for them to find one of the aliens on a motorbike with some items, and they were able to detect that those items, you know, looking at the shape in a sack, they were looking like guns, AK-47 and what have you. So they raised alarm and they started following this guy to see where he was going to. Of course, he didn't disappoint them. He got to where they were suspecting. But before they could enter the house, you know, there's fear because they don't know who and who is there. This guy got into the house, swapped the sack, gathered some woods into a smaller sack, and came out. They were insisting, you must bring out the sack you came with on the bike. He said, this is the sack I have. It will interest you to know that in the end, these women were made to pay 80,000 naira each for false accusation, like character assassination to this guy. After paying that money, they were detained first before they paid the money to bail themselves out. 2 weeks after, my community was attacked. Lo and behold, that guy was at the forefront of that attack. What did the security do about that? Instead of investigating, doing a search warrant in that house to find out if this guy truly came with those things they suspected him, rather, when it got to the higher authority, they turned it against those women. This story I'm telling you happened in my very own village. Talking about this topic is actually making me very, very emotional because I've had to lose my family members in the course of this insurgency. You cry to the government, sometimes you run for succor to the security personnel thinking they will help you. And to your greatest surprise, these are people that will start shooting you first to kill. Checkpoints were mounted very close to the communities, but when these attackers come in, you wonder, where are these military personnel? Where are the security forces? Until after the damage has been done, if our people come out to like retaliate, that is when they will be caught, they will be jailed, and we have a number of them that are still serving jail time for something they know nothing about because of the bad security forces we have. There's no justice anywhere. You can imagine this rainy season, there's this woman that went to harvest her potatoes. She called people, there's this thing we call Gaia, like you call a number of people, today you go to my farm, after harvesting tomorrow we go to the other person's farm. It's done that way to make the work faster and then for security purpose so that you don't have people scattered, far away in different farmlands. This woman got people, she bought her sacks for harvest. On getting to the farmland, they left the potatoes round the farm, but inside the farm, not a single of that potato. They came back home with empty sacks. Our lives are not saved, our properties are not saved, and you dare not talk. During the campaign period, I had stickers posted all around my house, and some Fulanis that were passing, I'm sorry to mention it now, they told my children, okay, you people are the ones going for this right, watch out for us. I needed nobody to tell me to get those things off. Immediately we removed them. There's no freedom of, you know, participation in whatever you want to do. It has to be this or that. So I feel our security forces have been compromised. There's a higher authority they listen to. This issue of obey the last command is really eating us up. Even if you are in danger, nobody comes to your rescue, they will tell you they are waiting for the last command. Where I stay in Jos, the community has been attacked 3 times, and these 3 times that they come, they will operate for like the kidnappers, they will come and operate for like 4 good hours before they will eventually break into the house, move away with whoever they came to pick. We will call security people, people will be blowing whistles, shouting, calling on. They will tell you there's no fuel. They will tell you they are waiting for last command. 3, 4 hours to take these people to break into your house, and there's nobody to help you. The average citizen is at the mercy of God. Honestly speaking, that's just what I'll say. You talk anyhow, you see anyhow. And these people, they have this kind of guts that they can do anything. Where are you taking them to? Give them 2 days, less than 24 hours. They are out, they are back to the streets. And they will even visit you and tell you that, see me, I'm back. What can you do about it? So instead of even reporting it, sometimes we just fear, try to make them our friends, But then they will tell you there's this adage in Hausa that says zama da kaza baya hana yanka. Like no matter how long you stay with a chicken, it will not stop you from slaughtering that chicken. That is the life we live in. And these people have all the security cover. The average man is stranded. The average citizen is on his own. I just wonder what those people in Mangu are going through right now. This is the peak of rainy season. Jos is usually cold on a good day. Talk more of rainy season. Recently, security outfits, they built, they deployed security to like station to put a station in Mangu. Less than a week, that community was still razed down by these people. So what are we talking about? Let me just yield for now. If I have the chance again, I'll come back and speak. We don't have a security force. We are on our own. Until we speak out, there's nothing that can be done. Thank you.
So, Ngozi, let me quickly let me quickly say something and add to what Mrs. Rhoda just said. You see, you see this thing about insecurity in Jos and their farmers. Um, somebody somebody I know in Abuja that is from Jos was telling me something about, an average citizen in Jos, right, has experienced, have seen crisis like this, have seen near death situation, with bandits, have seen death. If you like, an average Jos person have died like how many times and back, if the person have not died completely and buried. The person have died like how many times and back. So sometimes it's more like, it's as if these things are now normal to them. If it when this girl was telling me about, gun sound and gun battle, she said it became a normal thing, that when they start shooting like that, she said they don't start. She just said they don't start. Like it became, hey God of mercy. She said then even the Irish that they used to, how just people are the ones farming this Irish that you see everywhere. You know, Irish is like is common in Jos. It's like sand. You just it's something they just is a normal food in Jos. But it got to a point they couldn't even, like, they'll farm it. I think she said something about, I don't know, Mrs. Rhoda, you can just help me out here, that they will store it in a room and they do something like preservation. I don't know. There was something she explained to me that, see, maybe I'll have to communicate with that girl properly. I would get more, information about that gist. She didn't really give me the gist properly because she was rushing somewhere. She said her friend, when they were kids, died in her very before. Like she saw, see, people, an average just citizen that have seen this crisis, those guys are, see, they are the strongest. I would say they are the strongest citizens in Nigeria, honestly, because every single day you don't even know where this they will just start from. You don't know where it will just start. Maybe your backyard, maybe somewhere close to you. You don't even know where you start from. And she will see my status when I post things. She'll say, madam, this Nigeria matter, just take am easy o, because this is like normal to them. So they've accepted their fate. Because nothing, she will say sometimes you see police, they will be there. Police people will be there, they will see them. Ah, God. I beg. Continue.
All right. Thank you so much, Sanda. Um, Thanks for also being a guest to this show, the space. Sweet child, welcome. Please, you can unmute your mic and go on with your monologue. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, hi, good evening. It's been a while. So sorry, I've been dropped. dropping off. I don't know, probably it's the network. In fact, I've been here and I've been listening to all of you. And okay, first of all, let me appreciate everyone here for giving me the opportunity to be in this conversation. And I've been here listening, and I'll tell you that it's really a sad story. Like, it's sad that the people who are paid to protect us are the ones uh, attacking us, are the ones harassing us, are the ones making life difficult. Because when happiness was talking, I had to think it through. Like, what if it happened at night? If they could say all those things to her during the day, if they could harass her like that during the day, and same with Bolus, what if this thing happened at night? That should tell you that anything, God forbid, bad thing, we'll just say that we can't find happiness or we can't find Bolus. Because it's at night that they tend to do their evil. And they didn't hide it. When we say that the police needs a total overhauling, these are the things that make us say this. When you talk a total overhaul from start to finish, like you tell all of them they should go into farming. You give them opportunity for them to go into farming. So when they go into farming, you get fresh people, people with sense, people that have brains, people that understand the difference between criminals and Nigerians as criminals and citizens. And they don't just see any human being and just treat anyone as a criminal. It doesn't make sense. Imagine you stepping out from the house and the next thing you're scared just because you don't want to be framed up. We know them that they're very good at framing people up. We know that if they don't just like you, just see you fine, looking fine, and they stop you, the next thing is uh bring your document, your car document, or bring whatever is with you. After showing them, the next thing they tell you enter the vehicle. The next thing you don't even know, you don't know where they're taking you to. Your family and friends will start looking for you. Do you know how many people that have their posters out lost? We're looking for this so person if found, because most people, especially the young ones, are being picked up and are being swapped in prisons to take over some people or some prominent criminals in prisons. These are the people that they use taxpayers' money. It's really sad. Can we how can we be in a country where we cannot even run to the police or run to the security personnel to say CCC? Something happened recently. I read online how unknown gunmen in Abuja there raided an estate, kidnapped about 2 to 3 persons. One of the residents said they called the security people that were close to the house. They called the security people that were close to the house, and only for them to tell the for the police to tell people to tell the resident that, oh, they are coming. They didn't come there till about.
Oh, I think Sweet Child is struggling with her connection. Or can anyone still hear her?
I can't hear her too.
I can hear her too. So I think she dropped. Oh no, she hasn't.
Or maybe
Switch.
she got a call.
Yeah, probably. Maybe we should move to like one of the speakers. I think she has network connection problem. Mr. Idowu, please, you can unmute your mic and speak.
All right. Good evening. Cut off public opinion. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. I really understand your plight, happiness. This is what you get in a country that does not respect rule of law or democratic, society. It is quite unfortunate. I understand that the Constitution, Section 3940, actually allows rally as long as it is peaceful, and the police force does not have any right, as far as the Constitution is concerned, to attack anyone from holding a peaceful assembly. And if there's any one that should even protect the citizenry, I think the security agency should be available to protect the people. And it's important that they understand that they are servants to the Nigerian people, and they are not supposed to just be taking orders from the power that be. Of course, the situation in the country right now, the police force and all the security agencies are under the control, of the government. Of course, we understand that the government, needs to perform oversight functions, but the function of the police as a force or the security agency should also be to protect lives and property, which is their primary responsibility. So if they are taking orders from politicians and doing contrary to the constitution, such is undemocratic. It is insane when you have police officers or security agencies that should be out to protect the interests of the people, but are not dancing to the tunes of political gladiators. So we want a system where our security agency should be her, our guide, and not becoming her tormentor, as it is in the situation of the country currently. And when I saw the news of some peaceful protesters, that's in Abuja, being harassed, I was so really displeased by the news, because these are citizens that are just out to air their views, to express their views about the way they are being governed, which of course is in tandem with what the constitution says. So as far as they are not coming out to constitute nuisance to the community, I don't think any force should stop them from exercising their civic duty. And we begin to advocate, and it's important right now that there should be overhauling of our security apparatus and revamping of the sector, because over time this sector have been politicized. So the politicians now use them at their will. They become puppets to some certain interests in quotes, and they are not there to serve the interests of the Nigerian masses, which of course it should be their primary responsibility. I would urge us to, keep on with this conversation. I think the only weapon that we have right now is this space we are holding. And I don't think for now they have what it takes to stop us from airing our views, on some sensitive matter, online. Of course, they've tried that in the past administration where they banned Twitter, but that was for even a short while. But I think we'll keep on with the conversation, and we continue to express our views until the right thing is done. Thank you. I yield the mic.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Edo. Very valuable input, and I totally agree with you, particularly on the last point you made as regards using the social media, as that weapon with which we use to, to make our voices heard. Because coming to think of it, as we all know, the traditional media has been gagged, and the coming of the social media, especially in this political season, has been more of a blessing, to the average Nigerian. And so, let us continue to make our voice heard through the social media. I'm talking about the social media, just to let us know that this program is currently streaming on our Facebook and YouTube. So if you're experiencing a bit of glitch, because I understand that a few persons are experiencing some kind of glitch, you may want to head over to Facebook and stream the program live. For the address, you could easily locate that on the Jumbotron. I think because they had posted it a while ago. Yeah, it's still there. So you may want to equally share the link to your direct reports, friends, relatives. I mean, this is a very important topic, and the conversation is really really interesting. All right. Let's hope to have Sweet Child, return to the speakers. Okay, Sweet Child is here with us. She was speaking before she got robbed by the um, network. So, Sweet Child, if you are ready, kindly proceed. Thank you.
Please, I was actually thinking because I was using my laptop to be on Twitter talking while I was working. So I felt I was really talking and people were until somebody just said I should go back to the page and I felt I was be talking. I just saw that I've been talking to myself. In fact, it's the heads of this our 20,000 naira salary police people. Because I don't know. With what I don't know where I stopped, but let me just see if I can just continue. So I
Okay, let me
help me.
sorry, let me help. Yeah, let me help you. I think you had gone past the point that you were talking about, sending them to the farmlands to cultivate for us while we, get new persons,
Okay,
as in new fresh heads and so
mm,
let them go to the farm and do the
that was,
cultivation.
okay, that was actually even the first part. Like, and I've been talking. Okay, no problem. So what I'm trying to say is that we can have animals, right, protect us because there actually no difference between them and animals, sincerely. Because if they can see things, I'm sorry to use that word because now only people when their brain don already tweak, now you go see human being the waka because the human be fine, because the human be fresh. You don't feel say, you know what, I want to harass you. You know what, stay here. You know what, I want to show power. That's the only thing now. You know your work. Your work is to protect the lives and properties of the citizens of the country. Then why are you leaving your work to do something else? You're not even doing something else that is tangible. In as much as you even see people marching, probably doing a work, what you're supposed to do is, oh, let me protect them to ensure hoodlums don't come. Let me watch to ensure that people who are claiming that they're protesters are really protesters. But no, you tweak it. All you do is to harass people. You even go as far as killing people just because you want to steal from them. Look at what happened recently with the guy that was supposed to deliver a car in Abuja. If it's not because the friend was with him, do you know today we will not know what have happened to that man? He was killed, his body was dumped, and they took the vehicle away. And now we're hearing that they want to cover up. Why will you cover up people that are killing people and stealing? I don't understand. Are you telling me that somebody at the top in their office or where is telling them to do that kind of do those atrocities? It is very sad that even people that do you know that we have young people in prisons till date that don't even know what they have done because they have used them. Is either they use them to swap a particular criminal or they just need to have prisoners there so that they can be collecting money. You will just be seeing, lost and found. He went out today. He went out 2 days ago. We cannot find him. If someone has money, they will search and find out that the person is in Kirikiri. What did he do? Nothing. Okay, charge this person to court. Nothing. That is why we are shouting judiciary. People actually think eyes on the judiciary is just based on, you know what, is our mandate. It took our mandate. No, it encompasses the whole lot of the judiciary system, whereby you have people in the prison when they're supposed to have their court case. And the next thing you know, you say high court person did not come, and maybe the judge did not come, or maybe the judge went for one party. It's adjourned till further notice. You see them adjourning cases that's something that is in 2022, they'll adjourn it to 2024, or they'll adjourn it to this. Even if they adjourn it, okay, present the case. come and deal with the case, a problem, you will not see them. To tell you that our system is rotten. That is why I said the police, the security, every parastatal that has to do with security needs a total overhauling from start to finish. You need to know your work. You need to know that you are there to protect life. You're not there to harass people. I was saying that what happened with Happiness, what if it was at night? If they can boldly call her prostitute, a shewo, say all those vulgar words, insulting her, manhandling her, harassing her, what do you think they'll do to her at night? Bulus, that was just on his own, because he's a guy, they started roughandling him to the extent that they were making mockery. He dey sleep. When he tired, he go wake up. If he had died, you call. And these are the people that we actually always have feelings for. Hey, look at these police people. They're earning this. This, we want to ensure your lives are better so that you can work for Nigerians. You want, but hell no. No single PT. That's their salary that they say they're fighting for. I pray they don't get it. I'm telling you. If you know the courses that on these police soldiers, on these people, it is very sad. You run to police, you report this issue. Instead of them to look at the case, they'll arrest you. They say you're a prime suspect. Hey, God will have mercy. You run to the police to sort out issues. They're the prime suspect. That is why when things happen, when they tell you go to the police station, they say no need. They go arrest me. It's not like you did it, but because you already know them. It's because they're looking for money for bread that they said is free. It's not free. You must pay. You must pay. A normal Nigerian citizen that is supposed to be going to work will just be on the street with laptop bag, looking all fresh. They say you're a Yahoo boy. They'll force to take your phone. They'll implicate you. One of the people, Nigerian citizens, that use the police to intimidate people. In as much as these people have their fault, also we should check ourselves. We've seen stories how people will say, I know the CPO or I know the IP, ABI, whatever they call them. I know the ASP, and I will ensure you sleep in jail. Till now, you have some people sleeping in jail just because, I don't know, maybe they did not greet one woman or maybe they did not greet one man. My own prayer now, right? Because I just feel things that can be right. It's not rocket science. Things that you can do. It's not rocket science. You know, we have some countries in this world that they do not even have one single prisoner. Are you telling me that those people, their brains are actually different from us? Or the blood that is running through their veins is different from us? Or their own is red, our own is black? Or the God that created us is different? Probably that God is different from our God. I don't understand it. Or probably what we breathe in, the air we breathe is different from the air. Actually, it's actually different because the air is cleaner and clearer. Yes. Ours is polluted. If only they can just do the right thing. Now, our fear is knowing that these security personnel or forces are in the palms of these politicians. Our security forces are in the palms of these politicians. The people that went to harass people that were marching, do you think they just came on their own? No, now. It's one politician from somewhere that just called, oh yeah, those people, go and do something, go and disturb them. This is the same sitting, the one that happened in Abuja, where you have Asari Dokubo march on the street of Abuja with guns, with his people. Did anybody see any police approach them? Or did you see any soldier or NSD, whatever, approach them to tell them you're constituting nuisance? It was not once, it was not twice. Asari Dokubo did it how many times? Nobody went to meet them. I just want to know, I just want to say that what these politicians are doing, it will definitely come back to them times 100. In their mind, they're in power. You can never be in power for the rest of your life now. You will get old now. People are actually writing down and putting everything that you're doing on a paper. There's no room for karma. Like, okay, we're leaving you, we're waiting for karma. No, they're waiting for you in front. The little power you have, you will use it against the Nigerian people. Just little, just because you hold one little position, you will use it against them. You will call and say, go and attack these people. Why? Why? The police are supposed, the security personnel they're supposed to be independent. You can't see politicians use security personnel in the US just for their own personal gain. You won't see that happen. Or in Europe, you won't see that happen. Or any Nigerian that has more, or be any citizen that just have maybe small dollars, and you say you want to use US security personnel to harass people, to intimidate people, you will not see it. It's only here. I pray to God that this country will get better. I pray to God we'll be alive to witness a country where we'll be proud to say, you know what? We believe in our forces. We believe in our security personnel. Look at what's happening in Kaduna, when the people said, you know what, you people are not protecting us again. Instead, you come and even kill us. You will join the Boko Haram. We're going to protect ourselves. What did the soldiers or army, what did they say? They went there and collected the weapons from the people that were supposed to use to protect themselves. Since soldiers or since the police, the security personnel cannot protect the indigents of Southern Kaduna. Is that how it's supposed to be? If you had wealthy people that stay in that Southern Kaduna, do you think by now everything would have been crashed? Or the bandit, the insecurity that's happening, do you think everything would have been stopped? We're going to be in this country, and I want to witness it. I will not pass it down to my children and say, we'll try fighting it. It's your turn to fight it. No, I won't. I pray and I believe that God will answer it. I believe that God is answering a whole lot of us so that we can witness a country that we can be proud of anytime, any day. To tell you how finished our Nigerian security forces are in the eyes of the international people is when they apply for visas, they get denied like fly. When you say you work with the Nigerian police force, you expect that, oh, you should be respected. Pia. They get denied like left, right, center. They don't respect you. They don't respect you. The only people that they give visa, maybe are people top corrupt, that be top people who have had the opportunity to have good travel experience or something. But to say just normal police officer when they normal, they deny them like water. No single respect. Why would they respect them when they can see that they are not when they can see that they are not respecting their citizens? It's God that will help us. So all of us here will witness Nigeria that will be great for us in our lifetime, not in our children's time, not in our children's time. Because anytime I sit down and I wonder and I say, hey, the things when they happen for this country, why not it happen for here? These people, these top police officers, they actually travel abroad and see how these officers behave, other country police officers behave. They see it. So why can't you copy and come and implement it here? I remember when I was robbed, my car was boggled. Oh, people were calling me, telling me, oh, sorry. Have you gone to the police? I said, I plan going to the police. One some will say, no, go. If you go, you'll pay. If you even tell you, say, now you Tifa. Because they have seen things like that. But I still went. But guess what? I was told that, yeah, sorry. Do you have insurance? Next time you go insurance. So, yeah, sorry. Only for me to find out that they caught somebody who did the same because it was not only my car on my street, like about how many cars that were boggled, right? Okay, who is this person? Ask this person, do thorough investigation. Then I said, well, this one's will go release that mode. There's nothing we can do. Like, when you're nonchalant, like you just feel the fact that you're in Nigeria or you're looking fine, they don't need to help you. The only thing they say, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. What's hey, yeah? That is why insecurity keeps growing and growing because there's nothing the police can do. When police want to work, they will work. When they don't want to work, they don't give a fuck. They will not do anything. How difficult is it for you to catch a kidnapper or a car thief? You will pay the money you use to pay in there. When you think of the amount you pay, you just say, you know what, make the thief they go. Imagine police will tell you we cannot come, we don't have fuel. Imagine police be like the one. I don't know if I said it earlier. Recently, one estate in Abuja, when unknown gunmen raided the estate and kidnapped about 2 to 3 people, including a copper. One of the residents said they called security people and only to be told that, oh, they're coming. And it came 3 hours, 4 hours later. After the people have done their worst, people have entered, they've kidnapped, they've left. I would just like to round up so that we can have other people talk and contribute. All of us here will be alive to witness a country that we'll be proud of. We'll be alive to witness security forces that we're proud of. When we see them, we will hug them. When we see them, we will say thank you. I'm not saying that all of them are all corrupt, but you know what it is when you have bad eggs in the midst of very few good people. The bad eggs will definitely spoil everything. It go there too difficult to say you want to sieve out good police officers. You want to sieve out. No, the good ones should be the one helping us because we don't know who are the good ones. It's unfortunate that the bad ones are the ones coming out. It's unfortunate that the bad ones are the ones in the news. How many good police officers we don't a year of? Very few. If you're too good, self for office, they feel even kill you, say now only you day. If they're not to like you, probably they see say the police officer they see say what did they do for you not good. If you post you goes and Farah make you go die. I yield. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sweet child. And I say amen to the prayers on behalf of every well-meaning Nigerian on this space. But do feel free to chime in at whenever you wish, yourself and Rhoda Sander, for you are our special guests on the show this evening. So that's why we have you here. Probably you may want to respond to other speakers' comments as we go along, rather as we get along with the conversation. All right, I see 2 persons here with us, Olawaski and NASA. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to yield to Olawaski, and when he's done, I'll bring in NASA. By the way, just to put Olawaski on the spot, but mind you, Olawaski and NASA will be allocating about 5 minutes to you both, since you are speakers on the show. Like I said, I was going to put you on the spot, Olawaski, and it's just a simple question. So, Olawaski, in what year, in your own heart of hearts, do you believe that the Nigerian police force would start implementing the use of body camera on for their officers? I repeat, in what year, Olawaski, do you believe the Nigerian police force will begin implementing the use of body cams for their personnel? You can unmute now and speak to us, Olawaski. God bless you.
Well, I don't feel laugh. I'm like, God. Well, this one they like to put cow, make it pass through the eye of window. But now easy thing, so you know how it be now. Now easy thing for silver. Um, okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Slim Cat. Good evening. Court of Public Opinion. And Ngozi on the other hand. Good evening, happiness. Obedience, sweet child. Sweet child, welcome back to the struggle. With the Sanders, NASA, and every other person. Well, that one, I don't know. Well, the truth of the matter is that thing can easily be done if we have a leader like Peter. That's all it takes. Because once the security forces, well, I think there's even how do I even explain this now? Okay. Sorry, I had to run upstairs upstairs to go and hide somewhere so that I can talk freely. The the security is like, let me just say, it's divided like into two. So you have the military and you have the paramilitary. So you have the military in Nigeria is only made up of three. I think in the US it's made up of five. But for Nigeria it's Air Force, Army, Navy. So that should be air, land, and water. Then the paramilitary is every other person that carries or bears arm. So you could go into everyone that you have under the Minister of Interior. They are all paramilitary. Everyone you have under the Minister for Defense is all military. Their responsibilities, their modes of operation are totally different. Before I even go into all this, let me even apologize. Happiness, I apologize for everything that you've been through. It's sad. It's unfortunate. If we really have a database of Nigerians that have been through similar things and more, you will be surprised how widespread this thing that you described is. These things are just coming to the fore recently because one, we have social media, and two, we have the movement. So the movement helps to amplify these things. And in a way, try as much as to amplify it objectively and not just twist it. Now, let me go back to where I was. So we have the police, the civil defense corps, and all those persons, even prisons now, because I think now they bear arms. Before they were not. Um, NDLEA, that's Nigerian Drug and Law Enforcement Agency. All those people now, they all fall under the paramilitary. But basically, the only people that we were supposed to be dealing with was supposed to be the Nigerian police. They are not even necessarily the Nigerian police force, but I think I don't know how we kept calling them Nigerian police force. It's actually the Nigerian police. I think that's how their law is, Nigerian police. But we have been adding force to them, and they have been acting forcefully. For me, I that's sounding like Peter Obi. For me, I feel that we have some challenges that has occurred. I would try as much as to speak on the little I know on the paramilitary side and the ones I know on the military side because I have friends and yeah, people that are there. So now the DSS was also a company. I think it was under Ibrahim Babangida that he brought out the DSS from the police. So he made up a special squad and they used to call them SSS. But those ones have chosen, like the Nigerian impunity system. Police is Nigerian police. They call themselves Nigerian Police Force. SSS is SSS on paper. That's State Secret Service. They've called themselves Department of, State Services. So they decided to call themselves DSS. So there are lots of issues, such that sometimes you might want to take these people to court. You would go there and you present a name, and the name does not even exist in the law. That is just one side. So we now have situations where people that were supposed to be doing particular kinds of functions, they are now doing a whole lot of other things. When I was a child, if you see military man for road, even you will not say something no dey normal. And back then, when you see them, there is this red eye that they used to have. That's the image I used to have of them as a child. And you seldom saw them. But after that civil war, that 1967, the people who get house when they call me, that 1967 civil war, the military on one side. I want to start from the military, then I go to the paramilitary. The military became ethnicized, and it has been ethnicized so much. And you can imagine the number of years of ethnicization of a particular organization. So it therefore meant that the language of the military started changing gradually to the language of the majority ethnic group. And sadly, before the war, this majority ethnic group were made of mostly the the people called them rank and file, like what we would call the men. Like, there is the officers' corps. The military is divided into the officers' corps and let me just use generally the men. So that will make sense to everybody. So these men could be for the army, could be um, for the navy, could be the rating, for the air force, it could be the airmen. women, for the, yeah, something like that. So back in the days before the Civil War, you had a different ethnic group dominating the officers' corps because they were most educated as at then. They were the most traveled as at then. So they dominated the officers' corps, while a different ethnic group dominated the what I would call rank and file. So you would have like just say like close to 60, 80% of the officers' corps was made up of a particular ethnic group. Then you now have close to 90% made up of the rank and file made up of a different ethnic group. I hope you see how that dichotomy plays out. So as a result of after the Civil War, there was a switch. They tried as much as they could to make sure they killed almost as much as possible and used what we call systematic and structural discriminatory practices to make sure that the remaining ones, after they retired the rest, the remaining ones found it very difficult to get to the echelon or to the highest rank. So the officers' corps now became such that the ones that were the rank and file were now the ones getting promoted to now be heading. So the worst of us became leading. You know it's happening.
Life.
So um
Who get you don't come. So just attend to who get you first. Maybe NASA would NASA beg save him.
make I finish up because when I start, it will end. So you know, you know how that situation plays out, and I think no country ever makes that kind of mistake with critical institutions of states like that. Like there are nobody, no country plays with their military, no country plays with some particular kinds of parastatals. It is only in Nigeria that I'm seeing that kind of thing, and maybe some African countries. So that switch occurred, and what they gradually started doing was now initially they used to use English as the lingua in the military. Over time, gradually, that ethnic group that had to reverse and started getting up to the officers' corps. So for them to get to that officers' corps now, they did not care whether you had qualifications for it. They did not care whether you had competency for it. Because back in the days, they can actually go to a street and just pick people in that part of the country to make sure that they join the military because they believed that it was a source of power. So they forced these people to get to so you have a situation, if you have a soldier, if there's a soldier on the platform, they will tell you situations that arise that you will see that this person is qualified. They will now claim that no, they are promoting this other person because the person is loyal. So you understand what they are doing. So this person is qualified, this person has all the training, this person is very good. This person has command of the men and command of resources. They'll say no, they don't want this person. So they will now bring this other person that does not know his left from his right, but they will say that he is loyal. What do they mean by his loyal? He follows like a zombie. Why won't you follow like a zombie when you do not know your left from your right? So you understand? So we now have that switch. So over time, that switch has become normal. So now we now have a complete switch, and there is a population of people that don't even. When I say that our military is messed up, you don't understand how messed up it is. And those things are now playing out in all what we are having. That they would have situations that the military that used to go to Liberia, that used to go to Mali, that have gone on campaigns in different countries, African countries, and delivered. Now they cannot deliver. Why? Because you're not where you used to be anymore. And over time, governments came into power that thought that okay, the military had the tendency of. Why do you think back then it used to be very easy for if the military sees that the government is not working very well, they can easily arrange a coup and it will work out. So the government wanted to stop them from doing that. They stopped buying equipment. They started messing up with that structure and started messing it up completely so that they had a situation where the military cannot take over power from them again. But on the other hand, what they did in that place, they forgot that whilst doing that, they would have now had a military that cannot withstand any foreign threats, that cannot even withstand even normal threats within. So the military is now living on past glory. That is one side. So now, even when there was return to civilian rule after the military regime, there is this hangover of military effects on even our civil populace. Some people will call it Stockholm syndrome, some will call it whatever. But you will see that even some of our civilians, until you slap them, until you bully them, they will find it hard to do normal, proper thing. It is not the right thing for you to have to hit a human being for the human being to know that it is right to do it. But sadly, that is the society that we find ourselves. Our parents in our houses in Nigeria, they have to use cane. The way parents they bully people for Nigeria, maybe say they go tell you say make you do something, you ask them, daddy, mommy, why? They will never answer you. They will just tell you you must do it because I am your father. You know, so this those kind of things you cannot do them once you leave Nigeria. Like if in places people call saner clients, that you cannot try that. If a child asks you for something, you have got to explain why your own is better. So you see, children from tender ages, they learn to make proper arguments, arguments that make sense, arguments that are backed by data, arguments that has logical reasoning. But I don't agree that most of us in Nigeria really have that kind of arrangement. So it has it is those same people that will get to the military now. So we now have a security architecture that they don't want you to argue with them. They don't want logical reasoning. They don't want to hear nothing. All they just want is get up and go, and you shout rank Adilista and you move. That is what they call loyalty, blind followership, and it has now permeated everywhere. So that Stockholm syndrome has its effects on everything, like I've said, and it is playing out. Now, for me to quickly just go to a few things that I had to pencil down so that I do not mix it up and just go out. You see, our civil populace now. So you now have a situation where, um, for the civilians, Buhari did something that was very, very dangerous. And I know he knows what he did because for him, he was more interested in protecting himself in power than any other thing. What he would have done using the police, he withdrew the police and replaced them with the military. So now the military that was supposed to be in the barracks, he removed them, put them on the road. You know, the more they are on the road, their commanders, their command structure has also moved from where it is supposed to be and started going to the road. So normally, where you're supposed to see normal civil arrangement with baton, normal civil arrangement with maybe small things that people, because even in Senate crimes, you seldom see policemen. If you see, for where I did, if you see policeman with gun, it means one thing, that the person they are coming to arrest has shown one is either the person is carrying a knife, has stabbed someone, or the person has used a leather weapon. You will not see the policeman with any leather. But once we just see, you will withdraw from that scene because you know that that person don't carry knife, you don't stab person, or the person don't carry gun, you don't shoot. So they know. So the police coming there, they will withdraw the one that would have come before them and replace them with a particular tactical kind of police that will come with arms to disarm. You know, but our own system will be like that. As they don't withdraw police, police over time don't come no say their power don't make any sense again. So for them to make any sense out of the situation, they've got to be as brutal as the military. I hope you know the training of military and police, they are two different things. The military is trained to protect the territorial integrity. As in, they are fighting against people that are not people that are enemies of state, people that are not their citizens. So they are not in any way supposed to have those kind of contact with their citizens like that, if at all. But sadly, they come out, then put them for road, come out the police, we're supposed to get training on how to become more civil, can't replace them with military where they train today, handle people automatically. The whole country is now militarized. But sadly, you still see the effects of that faulty arrangement. So you see more military people living in the southeast than you would have them in Meduguri. Meanwhile, this crisis is more, the insecurity is more in Meduguri than it should be more in the southeast. I mean, more in the northeast than it is in the southeast. But you see, there are lots of unnecessary issues that are coming up. But for happiness situation now, or that's not happiness situation, for those kind of things that happen around happiness situation, you now mix up a military man and you mix up the person with another DSS, mix up the person with civil defense. Normally, civil defense, when they first started, they were not brutal. If anybody can bear me witness and if you had encounters with them, you see that they were one of the most civil and well educated set of people. At some point, people were even clamoring that they should replace the police. But go check them now. They don't learn, and they are becoming the same thing. So by the time these people that will that by the time you now mix up all these people to work together, so you know that the military man will do what he knows how to do best. It is not a good thing, let me just say. But sadly, that's how they are trained to show dominance. The military man is not trained to beg you for anything. They are trained to just ask you once, ask you twice, and then they make sure that they pass through that thing. For them, they'll call it charging through. They'll make sure they charge through that place and achieve that aim within the shortest possible time without having to beg you. And you now mix them up with the civil police. Or see today, you see how they're having issues. You see a policeman fighting a military man. Before now, you can they know born you can never see those kind of things. But now that you join the police, carry military in place, over time, come they mix them up. They first started mixing them up with this just crisis. So they now form one operation. What did they call it? Operation Safe Haven. They mixed up police, mixed up military, different training, mind you, different modus operandi, different aim, and yeah. So they mix them up, bring them police, bring military, bring. It was so bad that they brought immigration, brought prison. Please, what are all these people doing inside one operation? So they brought the in their mind. They thought that they were bringing that they did a very fantastic job, and it was from Operation Safe Haven in Jos that the whole security architect, everything just started collapsing right in their feet. And that is what we have today. Respect, no day again. This one, no, they respect this one. This uniform, no respect this one. So you go see, say, police will start to define way to draw in rank, equate them with his equivalent in the military, which is not even supposed to be because that is not how it is run. But then they will start, police will say, me, I the constable, okay, I be 2 star. You said the carry 2 star will be the same now. Now, there, the thing just crumble. So you don't see where we did today. We are in a very sad place. And it will take a very strong leader that everybody sees. And please, let's not also forget that Oyibo wey been there for Nigeria back then as colonial masters, they used the police as their own protector. They were not protecting the people, but they were protecting them. So when they left, our leaders, our political class now assumed the position of the colonial masters. So now you now have a police force that is more entrenched to protect them and their interests. Their interests are their children, their businesses, their monies, and all those kind of things, as against protecting the people. So for you to have a police force that would do that kind of thing that you said, Slim Card, it means you would have somebody, a leader like Peter, that does not care. Peter does not need a policeman to protect him. So you see how it goes. He does not need them. So why would he now have to pander to them? So he will tell them the way the things are because he has lived abroad. He has seen how life is. The police does not have to carry those kind of arms and going to settle person calling money from person. He's owing money because you call police. And Nigerians have, because of the hangover of military regime too, the hangover of brutal force, they try to. You have a situation where people get into the police, get into the military, not because they like the job of security. No, it's because there are no jobs. So there are no jobs. People now get into those things and they make all sorts of lies to get in. Waiting no be your passion, no be your passion. And you will never, most times you end up, and okay, even if you were even that bright, by the time you get there and you discover that the brightest are kept to work under the worst, even you will know say that it's not a system that respects meritocracy. It's a system that deals with mediocrity. For me, that is what is playing out in all. So everything has broken down. So they will need to start building it again from bottom up instead of what they are doing now. And that bottom up, maybe you might even start by replacing all the people at the top and bringing the real. See, there's this thing that merit does. If you keep somebody that merits a particular place, me that is a small child under that person, I will see, oh, okay, how did this person get to this place? Oh, he went to school. Oh, he went to this course. Oh, okay, he lived his life this particular way. Oh, he used to do his things. So I will try to model my life after that person because I want to get to that particular place. Likewise, when you put somebody like you see what's not happen now with this minister for defense, somebody we know. You see his qualification, but that's thank you. That's even a clear example of what I am telling you. You see his qualification, YX F9. Experience. That's the way Ron leave Zamfara State when he was governor. He was living in Abuja. left his people in the hands of bandits. It was the bandits that were taking care of security in his place. They will come, if you have problems, you go report to the bandit will come, collect money, bring out the person, either cut the finger of the person or massage the person in full. You see the way they were beating children with machetes. And the governor was in Abuja flexing, collecting money. Now, in the next 10 years, you now give that person minister for defense. Please, what have you told the populace that we're going through that kind of horror when the man was governor? That is the best way that you can actually do anything without having repercussions and you become rewarded. So we've had a system now where you do critics reward. I think I should just yield. Thank you very much for your questions.
All right, thank you so much, Olawaski. Thank you for taking us down memory lane. I mean, you brought in some history, bit of history classes. I mean, you took us through history classes with how the Nigerian armed forces, the structure of the armed forces used to be back in the day, especially before the Civil War, and then you went post Civil War. You said a whole lot, and you've left us with a lot to chew on. I would have responded to one of the points you made, but man, NASA has been patient. She's been here for. I think she came in at about the point we started, so it's only fair that I just bring her into the conversation before she vests for me. But it's only fair I equally ask her a question. I posed a question to Olawaski, so let me ask NASA. NASA, during your growing up days, say when you were back in a primary school or early secondary school, did you at any point in time desire, dream of being an officer of the Nigerian police? Now answer this question or not dodge am. Thank you.
Sorry, hold on. Never. I never dreamt. Good evening, everyone, please, before I answer your question. My respect to everyone here. Good evening to the host and the co-host. Um, Happiness. So sorry about the audio. I hope Bulus is getting better, and the rest of people that went out on that day. It's so sad to hear such you know things still happening in broad daylight. But it's well. SIM card. I've never dreamt of, not to talk of, even think of it. No. Mm-mm. But I just hope I've not lost my train of thought. Okay. Somebody. I think it was who was that? Sorry, Kai. The lady Switch. Was it Switch that or Happiness that said she feels like these people are stronger than the Nigerians? I don't think so. For me, I mean, I bet to disagree. I don't think so. It's just that we are scared to stand up. That's just the truth. We are scared to stand up. If you won't get something, they say cut and first from the head. We know the leaders of these people. When we get them, I don't think they are able to stand. The rest are able to stand. If you want to kill something, anything you want to kill, you kill off the head first. You cut off the head first. But I will not go there because I'm so sorry. I don't live in Jos, so I don't know. I only see things on social media and it breaks my heart. But I want to ask a question, right? Does it mean that those people, those security agencies, is it that they don't have rules and regulations that they are ought to follow? That's one. Then two, their guns, is it that it doesn't have what's it called? Is it safety lock, or I don't know what they call those things. When you lock off your gun, since they are saying is oh my goodness, I'm biting my mouth now. The incident that happened in Lagos about that lawyer that died, the barrister that died, the man said it was a mistake, right? So a mistake is it that they don't lock their guns, they don't put it on safety lock. I don't know what they call those things. They don't put it on safety locks. And moreover, must you carry your guns to everywhere you're going to? That's another thing. Now, when it comes to, I've really lost my train of thought. So please permit me if I'm going back and forth, please. When it comes to securities, I'm sorry to say, they have I've diagnosed them of what they called misplace of priorities, right? You will see the policemen doing the job of a of a task force. You see a task force doing the job of an army. You see an army doing the job of both a task force, last man, policeman, which other people again? You know, it's just misplaced of priority. These people don't know what they do again. They don't know their job at all. They don't know their job. I remember then during the time of Obasanjo. I mean, we don't. I don't know for anybody, but then we've never. I've never experienced what I'm experiencing right now when it comes to insecurities. I based in Lagos, then in Ajegule for that matter. So you know how Ajegule can be that rough. Yes, love. Please, okay, you guys. So hold.
I beg settle people when get you first before you request for mic. It's very essential. All right, now sir, when you are ready, you can call
Sorry,
me.
so sorry about that. So sorry about that. Sorry, my
No,
niece
it's
and my
normal.
nephew.
It's normal. It's natural. Go ahead. Thank you.
So thank you very much for understanding. So back then during, like I was saying, Obasanjo regime, right, in Lagos, there's an incident that happened on our street where a thief stole something and he was running, right? And then that's where you see police people were chasing him on foot. While chasing him, they couldn't get him. Not unfortunately for the thief, I mean, they were passing by, just normal street checkup. They normally do their street checkup, pass by, blow their siren, and they will leave. Unfortunately for that man, the army were passing by. You need to see what the army did to this man. They didn't, normally they will just hit him. No, there were muds on the it rained, so there were muds. They made the man lie down on inside the mud. They stepped on that man, making sure he was rolling on them before they now cuffed him and took him away. But now you come to the time of Good Luck Jonathan. You see where they would just shoot somebody and that was it. No form of arrest, nothing. They will just shoot you and that's it. Then the worst case scenario that happened was Buhari region. I was in Port Harcourt here. Now from Port Harcourt, I was in school in Owerri. From Owerri to Port Harcourt can take you less, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to exaggerate. It can take you less than 50 to 45 minutes to get to Port Harcourt. But right now, hell no. The checkup on the road, go, oh my goodness, 2 hours, you never reach Owerri. Because every two minutes, you're seeing checkup. It's not that they are doing anything, it's just the money. And when you don't give them the money, they will stop you on the road and keep you there. They don't care until you give them that money. And if you waste their time, they will top the money. Probably you're supposed to give them 100 naira, right? And you tell them, maybe the driver tell them, oh God, just come out now, no get, or yeah, pack. You waste their time, they will top that money and tell them, since you wasted their time, in fact, they're going to waste your own time, bring out all your documents. They don't want to search your documents at that moment. They just wanted the 100 naira. But because the driver delayed, they will not tell him, oh yeah, bring out all your documents. And unfortunately for that driver, his document is not complete. Now there nine he end. We'll be there for 2 to 4 hours, pleading and begging. The driver will now end up paying this man 1,000 naira just to free him to go with the uncompleted documents. Our security agencies, just like what Switch said, it need a total overhaul. It need to be reformed, but it cannot be reformed when their leader, we have their leader who stole the biggest is it monument I will call it, or what, the biggest oh God, what's the word, mantle of the country. We have him there, the total stranger. We have him over there in Asarok. Obviously, right now they are free to do whatever they want to do. And a policeman will be a policeman in the daytime, but in the night he will turn to armed robber. I'm not scared to say it. To hell with them. For night, they go turn thief. For morning, they go turn police people. Armies for night, they will turn to bandits. In the morning, they will turn to they will put on their uniform back. In other countries, they celebrate their people, they celebrate their soldiers, they celebrate their security agencies because those people are doing a good job, even though they have flaws as well. But they are doing a good job protecting the people as much as they can. They don't let bullets, quote unquote, stray bullets. It's a mistake. You take a life. Oh, na mistake. I don't know when it's in come off from my hand. Really? Can't you lock your gun? It has a safety lock. If I'm not mistaken, I've never seen a gun. I don't have seen, but I've never touched one before. But I know it has safety lock. Can't you lock it? Can't you lock the gun? You take a life, it turns to a mistake. A mistake, so you cannot pay for it. But if na person just thief small thing because of hunger, you go, in fact, it go be as if me you butcher the person immediately. Quote unquote, you're doing your job. My headache, they worry me. Please let me just yield for now. Our security agencies, they have a problem. They are sick, all of them, from the head to the toe. Switch said something about the bad egg mixing with the good ones. That's true. That's true. But can the good ones, no matter how small they are, there is no way they cannot be identified if they come out and prove that they are good. If they come out and prove that they are good, there is no way that we cannot identify them and separate them from the bad ones. But because their mouth are still shut, because they decide to keep their mouth shut, as birds of the same feather, they flock together. You get all of them are the same for my eye, whether they are good or not, because you're not standing for the truth, you're not speaking, truth to power, you're not following the rule of law. If your fellow people they do bad something, speak up. Speak up. You do something, you say something. Speak up. Please, I yield. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy. So sorry about your audio. Really sorry about that. I hope you get well. And Bolus, I yield, please. Thank you very much, the host and co-host.
Speak up, speak up, speak up. Thank you so much, Nasa, for speaking up. It was a pleasure having you join in the conversation this evening. Nasa did ask a few questions, but somehow I think she ended up answering some of the same questions that she asked. And for me, largely, I mean, just to add to what she said, our security operatives or the security forces in general need a total overhaul. And that speaks to some of the points that Sweet Child also raised while she was, you know, giving her monologue about how I go, if I'm not mistaken. The truth is, if you've stayed with these people, if you've lived with them, if you've interacted with them, if you've worked with them, then there will be no doubt in your mind for you to also agree that a lot, not a lot, everything like 100% overhaul needs to be done. Particularly, I'm very particular about the Nigerian police. This is not because the other security apparatus ought not to also undergo this overhauling or this process of overhauling the entire security architecture. But I just feel that since the police are supposed to be the closest to the people, considering the fact that they are supposed to be more like civilians, if you understand what I'm trying to say, but just in uniforms, except for the fact that we now see the men of the Nigerian army, patrolling our streets. Something that Olawaski also did make mention of while he was speaking. I I remember certain times encountering these people, even apart from just encountering them on the road. I'm talking based on stay at the place of work now. I'm sure I'll ask would, I mean, what I'm about to say now, it will make a lot of sense to him. If you've worked with these persons, let me use myself as a practice, I mean, it's a case study now. In the past, I've been, should I say fortunate? Okay, let me say fortunate. or opportune to work with them in certain houseboats. There's what they call the security houseboats, and in these security houseboats, if you've worked in um, informations where you need a security to help you guys carry out operations, especially say in the riverine areas, you definitely need to work with these people, right? And it's such that they give you a combination. I think Olawaski also made mention of this, a combination of the Nigerian police, the Nigerian army, that's military now, and the navy, because those ones are supposed to be like our forces in water. But there's something I always observe. There's something I always observe. Whilst the military, by the military, I mean both the army and the navy, if you like, you can add the air force now. Whilst the military still tend to respect authority, and when I mean authority, higher authority, it is not so for the Nigerian police. And I say this because I can still recall, like if you go, if you have not if you have, like we have the mobile police formations. These are the more like the group that they normally use when it comes to security, especially within the waterways. I can still remember some of those formations. They have the Mopo 44, the Mopo 24, the Mopo 12, like that. There's a way they number them. And these people, they are brought from these various units across the country to that particular place where they're expected to carry out the job of securing formation, yes, these formations, or even personnel that work within the formations. And back to my observation, I'm sure someone on this space can also confirm this. And it's quite an unfortunate thing for me to say, but it's something that I've observed. Say, for instance, you have a sergeant, right, or a corporal from, say, Mopo 44, in that particular facility. And you have an inspector, say from Mopo 21 or Mopo 24, another formation, another unit of the mobile police force, or whatever they call them. If you have an inspector give a sergeant an order to execute, and say that inspector is not from his unit, chances are that the sergeant will turn down such orders. He will tell the inspector, who is supposed to be a higher ranking officer, so he will tell the inspector straight up that he's not going to respect his orders because they do not come from the same unit. This is something that I have seen over and over again. And that's why I did the comparison. But it is not like that for the army or the navy or the air force, which is like the Nigerian military. And that is why, in my own mind, in my own heart of hearts, I feel that where these reformations, somebody called the reformations while speaking on space, where these reformations need to begin. This is not excluding the other security um, forces now. Where these reformations really need to happen, like deep down, is the Nigerian police, because, like I said, they are closer to civilians. Because I see no reason why you would tell me because this inspector, a higher officer, does not come from the same unit as yourself, then you are not going to respect him. You are going to flout his orders. And as a matter of fact, I have seen a junior police officer pulling his rifle on a senior police officer just because the senior police officer insisted that the junior must do his bidding. And why did he refuse? They are not from the same unit. And this is not a one-off incident. I've seen it several times happening. And again, see, look, a lot of training needs to be done. I can still remember several instances where you would have someone who's supposed to protect you, who's supposed to be more like yeah, he's supposed to protect you. Maybe you guys are going on whatever, on a mission to have some jobs done. Particularly, I'm speaking specifically now around the riverine communities. And someone is just brought from some place, probably in the north, and he has never been to the riverine area, and he's being told to come and guide you against pirates, against people that will kidnap you. And you guys go on a boat ride to some installation, and the man who's supposed to protect you is crying that he has never entered a boat before. say I never see water before, this one crying like a baby, then you who he's supposed to protect is now the one pacifying him and more like offering protection to that kind of person. So if there's an invasion or an attack or something, is it that same man that is supposed to protect you, or you yourself that, as a matter of fact, you now find out that you yourself, you've now found yourself in a particular position where you are now at risk, you've put yourself in harm's way because this person did not receive any form of training at all, but the system has so designed that whether you like it or not, due to one connection or whatever, because of the what's it called now, the funds or the payments or the allowances that come from such trips, they now write names and make sure that these persons who know nothing about that terrain is brought to those particular locations so that they get whatever kickbacks, they get whatever allowances that you know accrues to whoever works in those locations. So when you begin to reason or think about these things, you just come to the conclusion and say, look, we do not have security operatives in the country. A whole lot needs to be done. We can go on and on. We can go on telling stories of our experiences. These experiences are not very palatable experiences, but sometimes when you sit back, you just begin to laugh. And you are laughing not because it is funny, but you are laughing at the degree of the rot in the system across board. We've heard people share their experiences this evening, and none of these experiences are worth commending. That is not to say, I mean, like every other person who spoke, that is not to say that you wouldn't find maybe one or two, you know, good officers within the system. But where you have a staggering, I mean, when you have like the number or the ratio of even the bad eggs, I refuse to agree when people say we have just very few ones in the system. Well, it depends on what side of the coin you're looking at. But from the part that I'm looking at, from my own personal experiences, both interacting with these people, both working with them, everyday communication, everyday engagement with them, it will be very difficult for you to convince me that it's just a few bad eggs, like we try to paint them, that we have in the system. Does it mean that all of them in the system are rotten? Far from it. But well, let me just leave it at that. I was about saying when you have a very large number of, say, the personnel that have that, let me just leave it at that because if I keep talking, a whole lot of things will be said on this space, and which I don't even think that there is anything that will be said yet by my own person that will be new to a lot of us on this space because we have gotten so used to these things. But the sad thing, the sad reality here is that because we've gotten so used to these things, it now begins to feel like a norm. We now begin to accept it subconscious that well is the way it is the way the system is. I will now begin to pray our way to safety without taking into cognizance the fact that these things are not what you just pray or wish away. These things are what you need to put in the work, and by putting in the work have people in the right positions who will be ready, who will be willing to give their all just to make sure that the system works. Because at the end of the day, that is the reason why we have the government in the first place. Like they always tell us that the primary duty of the government of any nation is to do what is the welfare of lives, that's the protection of the citizens and properties. And so how do you guarantee the welfare or the protection of your citizens? It is through your security forces, be it the police, be it the military, the paramilitary, and so on and so forth. But I'll leave it at that while inviting okay, Joe Bident has joined us. Joe Bident, thank you for joining us. Before I come to Eric Johnson, who seems to be willing to speak, let me just welcome our executive producer on the court of public opinion, Joe Bident. Joe Bident, I hope you are available to speak. We've been itching to hear from you. You know, uh Joe Bident, if you are ready, kindly unmute. We want to hear from our executive producer. Thank you. Don't be shy now because I've introduced you as our executive producer. You know what going to talk. Anyways, Eric Johnson, I know you're not shy. Kindly unmute and speak since your obedient is too shy to speak to us this evening. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Um, on the space, I want to respond to what Miss Nasha said. He or she, I don't know. That why is the military behaving miss priorities? Last man doing the job of the police. The police. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Eric. We can hear you loudly.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
The last man doing the job of the police, the road safety doing the job of the last man, army doing the job of police, police doing the job of the army, interception everywhere. Well, I will blame that to the economy, and I'll blame that to the poor salary those people earned. They are not earning fine. The economy is hard, is high, things are expensive. A lot of them their basic salary cannot feed their family. So these people need to go extra mile to keep the family intact, especially their kids. Then in reforming these things, how we can get them reformed is they will kill godfatherism, especially in the army, the the navy, and the air force and the police. The day will kill godfatherism is the day everything will come to normal. Army will be army, navy will be navy, air force will be air force. From what you just said, a naval officer crying on the boat that he or she had not been into water, had not experienced water before. That's to tell you that that picture, that scenario tells you that okay, this person got this job through maybe religion or whatever. But I will tell you that in despite of your religion, there must always be a godfatherism backing for you to get that kind of a position. So say the day godfatherism is being isolated, where every man goes to a recruitment and being recruited directly based on merit, integrity, and character, that is the day we kill it. Because something happened. This podium 99 posted something yesterday about the army. Something I read the news. So if at the end of the day something of such happened, and who is anchoring that, whosoever is anchoring the case is a commissioner of police, maybe a colonel is involved, then a signal come from a major general. I will tell you for free that whosoever is behind that case, they will fall back before that case will die, because the Godfather had come in. So if somebody who had that kind of a mindset to commit such atrocities, there is a backing somewhere where he believes that okay, if things go south, this person is there for me. And this thing will keep continuing. The next thing they will come to the media, they will tell you that these people had been dismissed. They are deceiving you. They are deceiving us, including myself. They are deceiving us. Those people, they recycle them. They change their position. They are still in there, still working for the same establishment. They are in there, still working for the same establishment. So if we want to reform our army, air force, navy, the police, and this reform, the police, to reform the police is not much. The police PRO, I am not accusing him. It's something I can prove. I can go through my tweets. He tweeted something one time ago during or before the election. I responded to that tweet. It's like he deleted it, or he hid that my response to that tweet. I told him that if go to that office, tell him I sent you there, is bigger than a BLC in the police, then what do you expect them not to do? You see somebody coming with an, let's say, OND, is not even qualified to be in police force. It's not even, if job were given in on merit, he wouldn't have been recruited to the police force. but because that certificate does not matter, take this letter. Okay, don't worry. Go to so office. Tell them I sent you. Once they get there, who are you? They will chouse, who are you? Once they hear, I'm from so person. Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry. They will start pampering the person like a baby. They will they'll give he or she a VIP treat. Why they are giving he or she a VIP treat? So that when he goes back to tell the person that sent him there, okay, when I get there, these are the man treated me. So that at the end of the day, maybe that man can give them something. Maybe like one promotion comes, they will include their name that the boys are loyal. So that thing is godfatherism. We need to isolate it totally from the military and the paramilitaries. I don't know much about the civil defense, but I think from my own little survey I've done about them is they are still from my own little, I don't know much. I said I don't know, I quote again, I don't know much, but I still see corporatism to be a little bit far away from them. I don't know if they practice much, but where this thing really holds more and where they pull fast, where they work very fast is the army, the navy, the air force, and the police. Don't be so okay. A student will write an NDA exam. You will attend everything, you will pass the exam, going to the board of everything, the screening and everything. I don't want to go deep into it because I know that I see some people on this page, they are intelligent officers, DSS on this page. I won't be scared to say anything here, but I will not go much on that aspect. But you come to see somebody, okay, if you want to judge this thing, this person, if not for injustice, this person had merited this position, but they will cut the person off. The next thing you start seeing him names that were never even in the NDA screening, they were not even there. And these things are not supposed to be like this. Things are not supposed to be done like this. So when somebody who's supposed to be managing his or her father's company, but because of greediness of the father, okay, I know I have a friend, go to this place. At the end of the day, they'll put you in office. It's those people that come after you that'll be doing the errand. They will recruit the person one way or the other, push he or she, put he or she in one office. Once signal come for like maybe for deployment, he will still call, Oga, don't put my name. Oh. Before you know, they will do black and white in a black man way. His name will be, they will remove his name. So things are not done. A lot of things is not done properly in this country. Where a electrical engineer in the army or the air force is not practicing electrical engineering, but they are recruited as an electrical engineer, even in the police. At the end of the day, after the whole thing, they will tell you, I don't know, I've not wired house before, I've not done anything about electrical before. It's not supposed to be like that. I see some things, I follow much about the US military. Sometimes their military, in the UK, something happened when they had a gas shortage. The military people, their military took over the fuel stations, controlling the civilians, how to go. The police was there to assist him, but the military really took over once a situation in a country is beyond. Military will take over the control. Even in the US, when there was, I can't remember vividly, maybe pandemic, something, they sent out the military controlling the people, maintaining peace and order. Police is to protect life and properties. So a lot of things we need to kill godfatherism, and the day this thing is done, forget it. You have the best of our armed forces. The day this thing is done, you have the best of our police. And to do for this thing to be reformed, it's not a 2 weeks meeting. It's not something they do 3 months or 1 year meeting. It's something like, I would say, 5-minute call. Just 5-minute call. Hey, I want this thing to end. Immediately, the old formations, everything will change. But when the head is still the problem, what do you want the tail to do? when a 23-year-old or 25-year-old male or female is in the police or the any of the military force, then a 23-year-old not in any of those force, maybe he or she works from home, earning well, living fine. And do you expect? I don't expect. The he or the other one in the force we also want to do everything. We also want to try everything possible, whether salary or not, to every other means, just to meet up, to be like his or her peer. And in the kind of society we have today, a lot of people really fall much about worldly things, flashy things that do not last. I want to drive this. I want to, no, it's not like that. When we give our jobs to those who are willing and those who are able, okay, truly this person is deserve this, we'll give it to him. Then you see where the son of a common man can handle a relevant appointment in an organization. He or she will knows that, okay, I work much, my education speak for me, and I work diligently to get to this plate. He or she will respect her dignity on that post and will keep that place very clean, and he or she will leave that office without no stain of corruption. But when a son of go there, NNPC, just give them that letter, gets to that office, my father friends are still in service, they will back me up. Before you know, they will kill it. So godfatherism is just the problem. Thank you very much. I hid my
Uh,
mic.
yeah, thank you for yielding. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you for your input. I mean, you spoke extensively on godfatherism. That's another form of corruption that's affecting the Nigerian security forces. Talked about the Civil Defense Corps. And so we sleep, wake up one day, we see they don't hand civil defense rifle. Like it's as if every body that puts on khaki uniform, they are now carrying rifle, all of them. I mean, from the military to the police to this civil defense, even to what's it called now, the vigilante, all these local vigilante group, Amotekwa and the rest. Although those ones they are on the Shakabula. But for me, personally, the day they give road safety rifle for this country, times everywhere one scatter. Maurice was saying that all every road user in Nigeria may equally understand why I'm saying this, because those ones they've been hustling like for God knows how long, that they should approve same for them. I think after they approved the ones for custom and the civil defense, road safety has been pushing for that as well. But if they want Nigeria to still remain safe, safe at least the way it is, may they not give those people rifle. Because if they try let me leave the statement there. All right, thank you once again, Eric, for your contribution. All right, guys, we gradually winding down. We hope to wrap up events here within the next 15 minutes. But let's see how we are going to manage that. I've seen that the red-headed man has joined us, but before I welcome him, let me yield to my namesake, who's been here for a while. Yeah, Sheila Doc. Let's hear from your vast knowledge, wisdom, and everything in subjects like this. Thank you.
That's my namesake. It's only one person, but it's okay. I actually came up because when you are giving um your experience working with these people, some of the units and everything, and talking about how there's a mismatch. Somebody who's supposed to be a naval officer has not been in water and things like that. I was laughing because personally, I know somebody who was in the army. He went for an amphibious course, and they were supposed to be doing of course, being amphibious, you do some water exercises and all that. And you find at the end of the day, when they finished, he even did well. He did better than the naval personnel that were there. And I was just, when you were just recounting these stories, I was laughing. I was just shaking my head because It's part of the structural issue that you have, where because of several things people have pointed out, like Olawaski, like Mr. Eric Johnson have pointed out, similar to the general Nigerian problem, where it is a matter of how long your leg is as opposed to merit, is you see the same thing seeped into the security architecture, the security structure, and culture by extension. Because a lot of one, for instance, you are not supposed to even be seeing army officers or military personnel on the road anyhow. You are not supposed to see them. Or you only see them when you need to see them. But unfortunately, because of how the level of insecurity that has been going on, and as well as, the vested interest of several individuals within the hierarchy, that has led to a lot of these things happening, where unfortunately you would even see things you're not supposed to be seeing, and the combination, and the even when you're trying to synergize within sister organizations, or sister arms of the security outfits, if you don't mesh them properly, you would always find, with a lack of professionalism, you will always find this issue of whether it's ranking or be outranking, or is rank this one want to pull rank against this other one, as opposed to actually achieving the objective. And you find a lot of that, which gets in the way of actually doing the job. And this is part of why a system with something sensible at the head, be it, I always say one thing: for the Nigerian system as it is now, there is a lot in that name or term or commander in chief of the armed forces being the president. Once you have somebody who is sensible, right, who knows rule of law, and who is able to have the political will to achieve that rule of law, you would see a lot of changes for the better. And that's why, another reason why most of us, or most people who are close within these circles, are trying to make sure that they get someone sensible in that sense, so that all these things will begin to reduce. Because the commander in chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces has a lot of his posture. The posture says a lot. It travels down the line, down the chain of command. And that's why you see a lot of things have happened the way they have. But it is very important, because you are talking about, number one thing, protecting rule of law and securing the entirety of the state, the sovereignty of the state. People will look and think that, okay, we're wasting our time discussing this, but it is very important, because if you do not make these changes, it will only get worse. There are so many stories you would hear from people within the rank and file that will just make you shake your head. But I'll leave that for now. Since we're winding down, let our red-headed ogre come in here. But yeah, I just wanted to come in since you mentioned that issue with the whole amphibious thing. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, namesake. Thank you for corroborating. I think, yeah, Eric did same. All right, seems everyone is waiting for the red-headed man, and I was just going to ask him. He's got red head, and my other sis, Liberty Champ, has got red hair. So I don't know if they are both related without my knowledge. So back to you, red-headed man. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So yeah, there's the difference between red head and the red hair. Just to make that clear. Okay. Yeah. Good evening, Simka. Good evening, everyone. Yeah. So I've always wanted to come give my 2 cents here, but I keep coming late, but I'll improve on that moving forward. Yeah. So very good topic, and very pertinent in terms of the moment. Okay, so I'll start here. You see, one of the powers of the presidency, the executive. Okay, you see why the president, okay, office of the president do and undo in Nigeria is simply because of one thing. because they control the security force and security apparatus. Okay, that is why they can flout court order. Okay, carry out executive excesses, human rights violation. Okay, so it's just because of that singular factor. Take away that security apparatus, and you see this our corrupt executive we've had for some years. They will be toothless and unable to bite. So that is the thing, and it is only like that because our so security agency have allowed themselves willingly and wittingly to be a toy to these politicians. Okay, so then one thing I always ask myself is the money worth it, or any financial inducement, whether in form of allowances or salary? Okay, is it worth it to turn yourself against the people? Okay, because let's be honest, as a Nigerian, I don't love our security apparatus on all levels, and I'm not proud of them. Okay, they've never done well in any warfare, be it fight against terrorism or, you understand, the only place they do well is to brutalize civilians. Okay, like let's take the Nigerian army for instance, or the military. In civilized crime, the military has no business being a civilian population. But where you know that Nigerian army are powerful and strong is when they find themselves in civilian population, and that's where they carry out their excesses. And why they are doing this, the politicians are losing the money. The top hierarchy are losing their money. Okay, and they are left to live in penury. Look at any military family. Okay, if you see any of your friends or whatsoever that their parents are in the army, if their parents have not gotten to that level of general, okay, I'm casting my mind. They were struggling to make ends meet. They never went to good schools and everything because they are not come to fight for let end up being the stumbling block. NSAS, a component of NSAS is the fight for police, better welfare of police, protesters committing violence against them. So
I don't know if I'm the only one that can hear him. Comrade,
let me even okay. See, in my personal opinion, deconstruct, dismantle this thing to the scratch and
And just when everybody wanted to hear the red-headed man speak, and okay, he's requesting again.
Let's say network just I think he's on the move, so network is not great.
Okay, I'm trying to bring him right back up so he could wrap up with his with the points that. Okay, okay.
try to reform NSAS, and every time it fails. Okay, when when not reform this thing, demolish this thing, and rebuild it from scratch. That is my personal opinion. And let me just close here before I get another network function. You see, one aspect of this security apparatus that irks me the more, okay, that irritates me the most is the DSS. You get, see, and I understand that one thing that makes the DSS carry out their excesses is because they always mark their
Let's say don't go again. No.
Unfortunately, we can't hear him, but I think we got the the meat of his submission. I mean, what the message was trying to convey. Or comrade, are you back? Can see he's back with us. Well, anyways, from what I got from what comrade was trying to say, I think he's in line with what Sweet said, earlier on. The total. Sorry, can you hear me? Can anyone
Yeah,
hear me,
yeah,
Joe?
yeah, yeah. We can hear you. We can hear you.
All right, thank you. So he's talking about the total overhaul of the security architecture in the country. And I think that was what Sweet also said, and not just Sweet. Virtually everyone who's spoken on this space has also shared that opinion. So yeah, that's just the way to go. If we are going to get anything positive from our security architecture. So having said that, I think I will just yield now to our host to take us through the last bit of words. Just have those of us in the speaker session give our parting shots. By way of closing remarks. So over to you, host. My lord, proceed.
All right, thank you so much, Simcat, for holding it down. Joe Obedient hasn't spoken. That's our main host, though. Joe Obedient, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening, guys. I've been listening in, and I really, I won't want to say I enjoyed the space. I enjoyed the conversation, but with a lot of good and bad. That's a lot of bad, sha. I have my own police story. Maybe it's for another day, but it's a horrible. The police is a horrible. Nigerian police, especially, is a very horrible arm of every other Nigerian security system. I think the corruption and the the security to civilian corruption starts with the police. Every other part learned from the police, from the road safety to immigration, learned from the police. And I cannot. If a book was to be opened with all the crimes of the Nigerian police, especially, I'm sure that book, even if it's digital, it will fill up. Number of people that have been killed, extrajudicially people, judiciary people, extrajudicial killing, people that are in prison, languishing in prison for crimes they did not commit, just either because policemen are lazy or they are just wicked, outright wicked. I used to pity for the outliers in the police and our security forces, but what I've come to understand is that there are really no outliers. There are people with good intentions, but they mostly and always chicken out. Only very few outliers that try to, but they still chicken out. It's it's most annoying when you now find out when their own family members are in this kind of trouble, how they carry it on their head. They protect their family members at all costs. But when it comes to the ordinary Nigerians that are not related to them, they leave you to your fate. I've seen somebody that languished in prison for 7 years because he picked pineapple from his neighbor's backyard. Pineapple. I have seen I have a brother that or I had, I don't know, brother that has been missing since 2017. The last I heard of him that was arrested in Ekpan police station, Warri. He has two daughters. They are I think 18 and 19 this year. They turned 18 and 19 this year. They don't know their father. I know somebody that was arrested for jaywalking, which is not a crime in Nigeria, taken to a police cell. brought out and shot and left for dead in the bush. He survived, came to his father, as in he didn't die. He struggled his way into town and was revived. And police still came back and arrested him, as in from the hospital where gunshot, normal they have to report gunshot wound. Police still came back, arrested him, and we have not heard from him. If not from a nurse, if not for a nurse that identified him in the hospital, we wouldn't have known what happened to that person. There are many stories. The Nigerian police, especially, and the military has learned from them. Unlike the police, that is easy to if you have the time and you have the resources, you can investigate the police. The army, navy, and air force, that's difficult. They can actually a military man can commit murder and they will tell you it will end in their court, what they call this orderly trial, whatever trial they have, and it won't go beyond the military. They cover for each other. And these are people that are paid, no matter how little they are paid, to protect our lives and properties. They go in turn to kill us. In Nigeria, if your car gets stolen, I'm not saying I heard in experience, if you get robbed and you take your car, you discover, you see your car where they dump your car, you go to the police, you will spend almost the same amount of money the armed robbers took from you to get your vehicle back. If the police seize your vehicle, you will spend more than that amount, you still pay for towing. If your wallet gets missing and you are going to the police station to write a police report, which should be legally free or with a little fee, if as little as possible, if you are going to write a police report, you will spend money. If you send money to the wrong account, which I'm experiencing right now, and you want to retrieve it, you have to go to court to get an order from the court. The court will send you to the police station to have a police extract. Police extract will cost you almost 15,000 naira. So imagine you send 30,000 naira to somebody. You're already paying 15,000 naira. You'll still go to court and you spend 20,000 naira trying to retrieve 30,000 naira. There's a lot that the police has. The police is one of the most useless, Nigerian police is one of the most useless security forces in the world. In the world. And they are wicked and heartless. The average Nigerian citizen can only defend himself. Police sees an accident or two fighting. If police sees that they cannot make money out of that case, they drive past. I'm saying this from experience. We don't have our lives and properties are not protected. We should know that. They are not protected. We're just living, it's on autopilot because the police is not your friend. Nigerian security system is not meant for you, it's meant for the political elite. I'll end my submission by saying, Nigerians, all eyes on the judiciary, like Sweet Child said, is not just for this case. It's for people that are suffering from either police nonsense and the judiciary's incompetence. There are cases that have happened today or that will happen tomorrow, and people will have their court hearings in 2025 or 2026 because they'll say there's no space in court or they don't have hearing dates. So please, what we are doing to get back Peter Obi's mandate is to have somebody at the top that really respects the rule of law, that cares about institutional reforms. And that is the only way we can solve our problems in Nigeria. See, eating the street works, but it works temporarily. Until institutions are strong and are made to work efficiently, we have not done anything. And God bless Peter Obi for being a good person that chose to come to run for the #1 seat in the land. Thank you very much to our speakers, to our guests. Thank you very much. I didn't come in early, but I've been getting a lot of DMs about the space, and I got a lot of DMs before I came in, and the part I came in, I really, really enjoyed. I'll come back to play back the space. Thank you very much for the speaker, and thank you very much to the speakers and listeners. Thank you for those that shared, for those on Facebook and YouTube and Violence Space Radio. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We hope to do this next weekend with a better. There's actually a surprise topic coming up next weekend. It's going to be big and very, very interesting. Trust me. Thank you very much, guys, and good night. Thank you, Ngozi, for holding the fort. Thank you, SIM card. I really, really, truthfully, frankly miss this your method of hosting. I want to bring up the redhead, but first of all, I want to ask you this question. I miss him. I miss him. I swear. Thank you for holding the fort. Thank you, guys. Good night, guys.
My bros, Joe Obedient carry us go one space. Say make we come learn how to host space. So since then, we now there we just dey sha. All right, and thanks everyone for coming.
So
I don't know if
apprentice. So we call ourselves apprentice spaces. I know wow.
I dey tell you. Me like this, as I dey like this now, I don't live that for Nigeria. I'm Zimbabwe. How they pronounce that their country again? Now that place
Zimbabwe.
I
But that's I have to say this to end there. See, you don't see where your opposition come, you they cautious to them. After I talk nonsense, you can't they'll come apologize to other people. Sorry if that offended you. This let's no. I'm going to replay those spaces. I must learn.
They
I
laugh.
know they learn that one. No, they apologize anything. I like what LP incoming virus do for there today. He sweet my belly. That guy was moving like a cornice, like an APC. The thing as they bite me. I say, God,
wahala. Na
the
me
thing
don start
pain
this
me.
problem. I don carry problem wey dey Zimbabwe come Nigeria space. More na na me enter
Incoming
space now.
virus danger for
Carry
the
you
guy.
Maxwell here, we don't come
ASA.
get lawyer for obedient space again. We go pursue you because before you know, you see Maxwell will come they go Zimbabwean court on their behalf.
I dey tell you.
You never bet. You know
I
say you
carry
never bet.
people go the space. As it since then, I come dey lis ten to the space. I come dey dream about the Zimbabwe for my head. Hey God, I just wan make cut of opinion finish. May I go back my country because as our con man get two country, may I get my own two country. You never know.
But the
Happiness,
space is
please give us
actually
your closing
interesting.
remark.
Okay. That space is actually quite interesting. I won't lie. Like it was really, really interesting.
No say I
In
know
fact,
good things. You suppose
one
dey
of
tell
the
me Ngozi thank you. Una never
Well,
thank me.
I feel I'll ask you for the space. Yes. Well, I'll ask you join us for the space.
oh my god, like
Yes,
that's
now because
one of the
I
best
personally
space
know
I've.
that the vision is beyond Nigeria, but we will get to see it later. The evidence vision is beyond Nigeria. We go help other people, show them how to fight. You go understand with time. No worry. Now small you dey carry start. Now Ngozi don't move. Go. I just see Ngozi there. They laugh. I say like this thing they start.
I
Before
don
you know,
tell
they
you
will
my
come
name
ready.
sef Ngozi sef dey get
Yes,
meaning.
now say before if you don't join Zimbabwean spaces before now, you go see how they host. And the host space like make I no call them names. I they laugh, but now gradually you go on they give them the violence version of spaces. Before time they will stop that nonsense where they become the host proper spaces to the standard of African violence.
All right, Happiness, your closing
Zimbabwe
remark,
is
please.
space.
Okay.
Nigeria is
I oh god, the Nigerian police versus the Nigerian security forces versus the people. Ah, if we start talking about this thing already, the matter long. But one thing I really, one thing that is major here is the fact that the entire system needs a serious reform, and that starts from the apex seat in Nigeria, which is the presidency. So there is absolutely no way. In fact, police reform is not in this man's agenda. It is not in his agenda. The person that would have, the person that would have done so well in reforming this system, the entire armed forces, is Peter Obi, and I know that he has a very, very, very genuine interest there, and that is why we all have to put our eyes on the judiciary, because at the end of the day, these guys are not answerable to we, the citizens. They are answerable to the guys that are giving them, like somebody said, their salary is too small to sustain them. If they are not stealing from us, killing us, taking from us, they are they are they are depending on these politicians who give them peanuts. so that they can always keep coming back and be doing boy and be answering sa to them. So it is deliberate. It is something. It is a deliberate act to keep them the way they are, so that they will always come coming to them and answering them sa, so that they will just remain the way they are. That is just what it is. And again, when we talk about reforms, it cuts across every aspect. You cannot talk about police reform or military reform and not talk about rehabilitation. And I'm very particular about this one. I'm laying emphasis on it, because those guys are not normal. Those guys deserve to be tested. They all deserve to go through drug tests. They need to go through drug tests. I can bet you, if there's a drug test, that is raised in the entire armed forces, almost all of them will be guilty. Almost all of them will be positive. They will not come out clean. So some of these acts that they pull, it is as a result of after taking. See, before they go on any operation, most of them take drugs before they handle their gun. And that is why when you try to even engage them, you just realize that you're not engaging normal human beings. You will see the way they are talking to you is different. It's totally different. The aggression. When I watch American movies and I see the way police, of course, whatever they depict in their movie is whatever happens there. I'm not saying they have a 100% perfect police system, right? But what I'm saying is, what I see in their movie, that they depict in their movie, goes to show that there's human rights, there's respect for human rights, there's respect for freedom of speech. So they don't just come start pulling you or harassing you like the common criminal or an animal. There's always a boundary. There's always a boundary. Even when they want to arrest you, they'll tell you, excuse me, sir, excuse me, ma, you have to do this. Some of them, before they even say anything, they explain to you. They introduce themselves, first of all, then they explain to you, they show you their ID card, they show you whatever information you need to, they tell you the information you need to know, and then they go ahead to explain before doing anything. But in Nigeria, agbero. So we talk about reform, we talk about the rehabilitation. Most of them are drug addicts. They're all drug addicts. So even to their organs at the top. So we cannot talk about reforms and leave rehabilitation and drug testing. And also, for me, I still also believe strongly that the qualification that is required to become an officer or a military personnel should not even be secondary school certificate. I think for me, it has to improve. Many graduates on the street now. There's so many people so many graduates on the street now. So it's not like before that people barely, before going to school, going to tertiary institution, then it's like a luxury. Now it's like it's now like acquiring a tertiary certificate is now like having a secondary school leaving certificate. It is now normalized. So we're supposed to be growing and improving, not going backward. So for me, I feel like even the qualification should also be considered when you talk about reforms. When if they talk about reform now and say, okay, the qualification needs to change, a lot of them will lose their jobs. A lot of them is because some of them are near to being illiterate. They are close to being illiterate. So the reform cuts across every angle. So we cannot talk about reforms and not talk about drug. Talk about when they're always focusing on their salary. It is not just about their salaries. It is also about their welfare. Fine. It is also about their and the qualification, the rehabilitation, the orientation and everything. When last did they receive normal training, real training? So I beg, I don't want to go further, because if I continue on this matter, it long. I use my mic.
Hey, girl, happiness, happiness. After I don't hear about our people, happiness, happiness. Say our police force are colos, they are on drugs. No wahala now. We are set. All right. Thank you so much, happiness. SIM card. Could you give your closing remark? I beg, want to give closing remark because it was sleep. I beg.
I know Allah. All right, guys. When I heard Joe Biden speak about some experiences of his, and particularly the experience of a relative of his with Ekpan police station, instantly I remembered my experiences with Ibrumede police station, DSC police station in the same worry, and my life has never remained the same. I remember Ireni police station somewhere in Ugele, Delta State. This is me taking a trip from Warri to Port Harcourt, but somehow I found myself in Zoro, for those of us who know that terrain, due to the activities of the Nigerian police. Ebrumede police station, e no go better for those people. I can never forget, those people stole my full tank. They empty my tank, gave me keys to go back home, only to get stranded on the road. Those are one of the funny experiences. It's not funny, but I mean, looking back, it's more like a very comical, funny experience. But I guess the long and short of the conversation that we've had this evening is that the Nigerian police force, or the Nigerian police, and by extension, the Nigerian security forces need proper, thorough overhaul. And not until this is done, we would keep roaming, moving in circles. For the sake of those who have been hurt, who have lost a loved one, who have undergone one form of trauma or the other as a result of the activities of our security forces. I just hope that we get back our mandate and begin the process of rebuilding our country and the institutions that make up the country. So this is why I will leave it so that our able hosts can go get some rest. Thank you so much, and God bless us. So, how do you say good night in Zim again, in Zimbabwean language, host?
That will come back tomorrow. So I don't live in that for you. Sim
Mm,
do. Sim do,
mm.
yeah. Oh.
No go make mistake contest for Nigeria in the next coming years, because as you don't announce say you be Zimbabwean, don't worry, we dey wait you. But yeah, on the real, it's been a very interesting and engaging space. Talking about what the orientation and the psyche eval that Happiness was talking about. I remember a particular instance where, unfortunately, somewhere, this was, I think, Jordan Barracks, where a soldier held the entire guard down because he was armed, and he did not he wanted to smoke weed. Now, I know this sounds very unserious, but you have to understand that the context to it was that he was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, and he held the entire guard down at the time because he was having one of those breakdowns. And I remember they had to call a friend to actually listen to him, to actually calm him down and let him release his weapon. And one would say, oh, he should be in prison, he should be that. But at the same time, you're talking about somebody who has been at the forefront for months on end. This is another aspect of the rebuilding we're talking about. There needs to be a consistent psychological evaluation for these people. There needs to be constant monitoring of standards and everything, because you cannot go through certain things. You cannot be in that profession and not go through one thing or the other. That is quite extreme. To the citizenry, to anybody that has gone through something unfortunate due to this quite system we find ourselves in. Just we can only console you and hope that as we continue to talk and work towards a better country, these things will remain a thing for of the past, and we will learn from them so that we will not repeat them. Okay, so in any case, thank you very much to everybody, our host, co-host, our producer. Shout out to you, and I wish everybody a great week ahead and a weekend. And NG, go and return your Nigerian passport. Thank you.
Opinion. See you next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Please endeavor to be here and also share the space next week. Thanks everyone, and do have a wonderful rest of the evening. Bye.
I pray it favors me and my family.
It's happened. Go Zimbabwe, there.